Hello everyone. I am Steve from Mac84, and I am rusty at this. How's everyone doing? Welcome to another live stream? Question mark. How do I have that much fur on a new shirt? Anyway, hi. Hopefully the video is clear. Everybody can see and hear me, maybe? Hi, everyone who's here. We have Kate, Macintosh Librarian, Savvy Sage, SadMac356. We have CDI, Brandon, Lucas, RetroFox, Falcor. Jack68K is going to be in and out. Turbo Speed, TomTom Computing. Electrical Outlet, let's see, Francois is here. Carthor is here. Starbuck Tech is here. Roger Jones is here. Joe is here. RetroTech or Die is here. Joe Williams is here. Gutbomb. Whoop, it's scrolled. I lost my space. Coding Projects and stuff is here. Sutek is here. Brian's here. Electrical Outlet, I think. Don't know if I said hello to you before. Brian's here. Charkis is here. And Lowang DC is here. I left an Arnold movie for this. And Bruce of Breakers Creations is here. Why'd you leave? It's my terrible impressions, which some people like. Now I can't speak. Life is imitating art. I can't speak anymore. Hello. So, it's been a while, huh? How's everyone doing? Hopefully okay, I guess. Yeah. We have some Mac classics to fix tonight. We have one from Savvy Sage in the chat, who's been very patient. They dropped off this Mac for me at VCF Midwest in 2022. So I have to catch up on that one. And it's been sitting on the shelf mocking me every time I walk downstairs. So hopefully today we'll be able to get that all fixed up. I have a new semi-organization system of using these little dish drawing bins type thing. So I'm going to put all my soldering tools in here so they're not on the desk and I can't lose them. We'll see how far that lasts today, because that's probably not going to keep me from losing crap. But an attempt is being made. So there we go. 8 months in the making. You're ahead of some people. I will say that. Some of the more problematic boards are taking more time than they should. So just some orders of business, because I forgot to do this last time, and now I am scrambling for the button. I'm terrible. Where's the button for the thing? That's the wrong one. This is the right one? No, I need to get fancy with what Bruce has. He has, you push a button and it does a thing like that. There it is. Maybe, kind of, sort of, there's my disembodied head. If you want shirts, merch, mugs, questionable wearables, go to mac84.net or go to shop.mac84.net to be precise. Both will get you the same way eventually. We got mugs that say EEP on them. We got mouse pads that have a stupid poem I made up about unimplemented traps. Shirts, mouse pads, mugs, all that sort of stuff. I have these labeled at pretty much the lowest price that they will allow me to post them, so I'm not making a fortune here. In fact, I lose money sometimes. I think I lost like 85 cents in one sale for whatever reason. But if you are really feeling generous and you don't do PayPal or Patreon, rather, or anything like that, there is a place to make a donation if you really want to at the bottom. But, this is just a fun thing. I was doing the Teespring store, but I wasn't 1,000% happy with a lot of their products because they didn't come in a lot of different sizes, and apparently the shipping overseas was atrocious. So hopefully this is much better. I was hearing from people outside of the U.S. that even some of the free shipping codes and stuff like that worked. So, oh, thank you so much. This does not compute. Yes, I think you placed an order. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So, Colin, I hope you're doing well. And Savvy Sage has almost reached 1,000 subscribers. What? That's nuts. Congrats. Now anyone has not subscribed to Savvy Sage, go do that. Yes, new teas and all that stuff. So, and yes, we had one of our senior buns, unfortunately. She was hanging on there for a while, but she passed on Monday. So, we had to, take her to the vet and help her. She was not in the best shape. But, we got her in like 2014 or so. And she was a former meat rabbit. So she was just there to breed babies, and they would take the babies away from her, and she was, I don't know how she got to the rescue, but she did, and she was like almost bald when she did, and nobody wanted her for the longest time, and we were helping out that rescue, just doing fostering, And at one point we said, okay, well, we're done fostering this rabbit because you found it at home. Let's foster another one. And nobody really wanted her. They weren't really, interested in her for whatever reason. A lot of rabbits, the ruby-eyed whites, they call them, are these big white rabbits, either lop ears or straight up ears, and they have these ruby-colored red eyes, and people get creeped out by that, I guess. But it's funny because in like Japan, that's what a rabbit is. Like all the iconography of a rabbit is a white rabbit with red eyes, and they think they're adorable. I don't know. Anyway, so we were fostering her forever, and we were just like, you know what? What's one more to feed? We had like probably 5 at the time, and we had ended up adopting her. But ever since a year or two after that, she had so many health issues. She would just like eat herself and just like self mutilate herself. Pretty badly too. I'll spare you the gnarly details. So we were trying to figure out what was going on with that, and then that flared up again. She had to wear a cone, and then she became paralyzed, and her legs didn't work, and she became all messy and everything like that. And so we had to just she was still herself. She still had a spark in her step. She was still eating and munching and being a little diva. So like it wasn't like she was like gone or anything like that. And that was last year around this time. So from then to now, it was a slowish decline. I didn't really notice it. So you look at older pictures and be like, oh wow, she used to be much bigger. Measured her weight and had to give her medicine twice a day and food nonstop. She couldn't drink water on her own, so you had to like mix up the food and all this stuff. So it's, it was. I'm not going to say it was easy because it certainly wasn't. We couldn't really go away on vacation for like a weekend without boarding her, and it like you have to do medical boarding, and most places won't even take rabbits because they don't know what to do with them. So it was like really stressful. But it was worth it because nobody really wanted her. She was cast aside. She was treated terribly. So trying to just make her feel like, hey, somebody cares. And she was the sweetest thing. At first, when we got her years ago, she would grunt and jump and all this stuff. But no, she was the sweetest rabbit. All she wanted was love and attention and pets. And she loved her cheeks rubbed and her little ears rubbed and everything. But, over the weekend, I noticed there was something wrong with her. She was not eating her treats, which she never, ever passed up. And while we were driving her to the vet, you could just see she was out of it. So they helped her ease her suffering. And it sucks. It always does. Even when it's coming, like her, I knew it was going to happen sooner or later. But, it doesn't make it easier. So. But to contrast that, Gus, who's our only rabbit at this point, it's her 10th birthday yesterday. So yay, Gus. Happy birthday, Gus. She is a little punk. Let me throw a picture up her here of her to lighten the mood a little bit. There we go. Buttons. She is. There's Ms. Gus. So it was her 10th birthday yesterday. She was part of the litter that we had ages ago from a rabbit that was supposed to be a male, turned out to be a female. Turned out it was pregnant. So it was Gus's 10th birthday yesterday. She was spoiled rotten, let me tell you. So she got as many treats she could handle and all the lettuce and blueberries and all that fun stuff. So, well, thank you very much for the Super Chat, Falcor. That is very, very much appreciated. Eep! Thank you very, very much. Sorry, I just sort of went on a rant there, but I appreciate everyone's heartfelt thanks and, condolences and what have you. Very, very kind of you. Yeah, it's always difficult, but and thank you, Kate, for putting the link in the chat. I appreciate it. I know Savvy's age. That's pretty crazy. That's better numbers than I get. But yeah, it's rough losing a pet, no matter how old they are or how like they are. But rabbits breed like rabbits. Like 28 to 31 days is the gestation period. So when they say breed like rabbits, especially being part of the rescue community with rabbits, once the babies are like 6 months and they go, hey mom, how you doing? Oops. And 30 days later you could have anywhere from 3 to 12 baby bunnies. And then like they're ready to go again. Yay. So that's why it's very important when rabbits are rescued or when they're, from a hoarding situation or they're in a pet store or whatever, you gotta keep them separate, and it's really not the easiest to tell the differences between the two until they're about 6 or 7 months. So, yay. Anywho, she got romaine lettuce and blueberries and all sorts of treats yesterday. So, Yes, that's what we did to spoil Gus on her birthday. But anywho, we're here to fix computers, and boy, do I have an update for you. So this is the Quadra 650 that Chris of RetroTech Chris donated to the channel, and this was the battery bombed one. As you can see, all of my beautiful handiwork there with the spaghetti and everything. Yeah, Kate. Well, you know what? It kind of works. So let's show you how well it works. I'm gonna plug it in. I didn't even test my video capture setup, so that might not work. But let's show all the nice people in YouTube land what the heck is going on with this system now. Let's grab a speaker. Where's the plug-in here? Oh boy. And then we're gonna use this ATX power supply with this awesome 10-pin adapter. I have the paper here because I'm going to forget who sent it to me. I'm doing a review about this. This is the Anserine Machines, Anserine, and I will put a link in the thingamajig. Let's find it. Here it is. Whoops, I lost my mouse. There it is. So if you go to this website, you can buy this little adapter, and basically it just plugs onto your standard modern ATX power supply. And there you go. So what's nice about this is you can just plug that in, and you don't need to worry about the aging caps of the old power supplies. Funny enough, though, I plugged in like a 2005 or 2007 power supply, the PC power supply. I turned this on, the caps on, pop, pop, pop. It scared the crap out of me. Of course, I wasn't recording at the time because, why bother? But yeah. All right, now let's. Yes, Lucas. Yes, I feel that. Yeah. Yeah, this was not fun to fix. I will talk about it in one moment. Let me make sure my video capture is working here, because we do get video. Spoiler alert. Oh, come on. Where's the... There it is. Hi. Yeah. And make sure this is set to the USB of the USB thing. Go. Sure. And hopefully this will work. I don't know. I guess there's only one way to find out. You probably should get a mouse or a pointy device of some type. Whee! Oh, dang it, I just had one. Hold on. Alrighty. Yeah, this is a Quadra 650, so it does have the non-LC processor. Has the non-LC processor, so it's a full 33 megahertz with a math coprocessor on it. Very fancy, I know. All right, and let's see what happens. The tube from the heat gun's in the way. There we go. Well, let's do this first. It would help if the switch was turned on. There it goes. Scared me for a second. We have a freaking chime. How about that? Well, let's see if we get video, which, may just not want to work because reasons. Open up QuickTime, new movie recording. So this whole setup is wonky. Yep. Getting something different than I am from OBS. Isn't that great? Oh, let's just do one of these doodles and one of this doodle. And hey, there we go. And buttons push. Wait, oh, there we go. Yay! It took us a while. My gosh, what a mess. So yeah, it works. So the reason why I couldn't get it to work on the last stream, good question, Bruce, is one of the capacitors right where the battery was, the negative line was not going anywhere at all. And I thought I had fixed that, but apparently I did not. So I ran a little trace to fix that, and then I moved the 2 resistors over. Well, actually only one of them. Moved one of the resistors over from a working 650 board right next to that capacitor, because I thought, well, that looks kind of important. Because I beeped it out and everything, and it goes to like the power, the memory and stuff. I'm like, it's kind of probably needed. And so I traced it out and put those in, and I really was not expecting it. I powered it on. I'm like, oh, crap. It works. So if I go to the Apple menu here, we see we have all 4 megabytes of memory, and it recognizes it as a Quadra 650. So how freaking cool is that? So excited that it works well, and that it's working as well. Yes, we have plenty of time for Snooper testers, and it did pass Snooper with flying colors. So the mouse is kind of awkwardly placed here, but let's open that up. Yes, my site had the certificate go, and I fixed that. It's just a pain in the butt to redo it on my website. My server doesn't give me all the options that some people do. Unsupported machine. Well, we're going to run this cycle anyway. I said go. There we go. Never consider building a spare parts machine. Well, usually I have most of the parts. But yes, maybe? Yes. Macintosh Librarian's videos are great. And yeah, tantalum capacitors, polymer capacitors. Hey, look, I passed the memory test. Yay! And all that fun stuff. It really depends on what you have on hand, what you're comfortable working with. I use tantalum capacitors because that's what I use. That's what I have on hand. That's what I order. And I find they're generally easy to work with, so that's what I use. But if you want to use something else, if you want to retain the original style of the caps on the board, more power to you. Just some more difficult than to replace others with. So totally up to you. Mine is a Centris. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to fail the handshake because I don't have those fancy doodads. I have to print those and make those based on Bruce's findings. Oh, Savvy Sage, that is completely part of my service, yes. Unlike some other people who like to recap stuff and just be like, yeah, it looks good, and send it out. You know, I do a full suite of testing because I don't want to see that board back. As much as I love you guys, I don't want to see that board back. I have enough problem boards here. So I do a full hardware and software diagnostic when applicable and make sure that everything is working well. Just in the case of this board, which was left for dead in, where is it, somewhere in Virginia, I think? Was on a shelf filled with other sad stuff, and this would have just continued to eat away, I'm sure. But it cleaned up okay, and we have a perfectly happy Quadra 650, which I am absolutely thrilled about, because I did not have a Quadra 650. I had a Centris 650, but I have a Quadra one, and I have the badge and everything, so very, very cool. All right, so I'm going to shut this down. That was just something I wanted to follow up with you guys about. Oh my god, the color went all... Hold on, let's adjust this. There we go. Yeah, this camera and my computer don't see eye to eye a lot of the time. All right, so let's turn that power supply off. My register only replaced the caps and cleaned the board. Okay, so they did replace the caps because it did look like the caps were not standard. Hey, Thomas, how's it going? It worked a brief moment. So what does it do when it stopped working? If you want to refresh my memory there, Sage. This is the heat sink for this, but I'll have to put that on later. Here's the little thingamajig for that. So we'll deal with this machine at a later time and put it all up in its what remains of its case, which needs to really be fixed and cleaned. So that's going to be a project for another day. But let's put you there for now. But success! Yay! Alrighty, let's adjust the camera a little bit. Whoops. I adjusted it too much and it sort of snapped off there. Hi. Yeah. Took me good 5 minutes to get my external aux to work. Always tries to do Bluetooth. Yes, fun times. Worked for a brief moment, then stop. My best guess is that one of the traces does not make a proper connection or something. Isn't it always something, though? It's always something. Always something. Alright, well, speak of the devil, let's grab that board that Sage is talking about. So Sage brought me his Macintosh Classic Logic board. And I'm going to read the serial number before I forget. There's a serial number that's on the board. SG102D1S0 F. I'm sorry, 3F, and then it's sort of cut off there. Well, there she is. So it actually looks pretty darn clean. But Sage says it's been recapped. Now, unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to rip those caps off and put new ones on because I don't know what it looks like underneath. I can try and put them back on, but sometimes that's not the easiest. And with the condition knowing what this board has been through, it might be best to just start fresh and see what's going on. But, so you mentioned that it just sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, which is annoying. However, the question I would ask you is, have you ever tested this in another chassis, another case of a Macintosh Classic, just to make sure that the analog board wasn't the issue? Yes, exactly what Bruce is saying. There's just some leftover flux here. I'm just wiping that off. Yeah, the Classic and the SE30 are just one of those machines where you don't want to be like, oh, this caps look okay. There's always something going on and hiding underneath. Always. Always. I mean, for everything, basically. Never succeeded. Shark guess. PowerMax 6100 doesn't power on, but I'm about to order PRM batteries for it. If it doesn't power, if you don't see, here's the trick of the 6100. If you do not have a PRM battery and you could still get it to power on, however, those power supplies are notorious for dying. So what I would suggest doing, Jacob, with the 6100 is taking the battery out. You can even leave the lid of the case off, but you have to use a pen to hit the power button or you'll scrape up your finger or something awful. Push the power button in and it'll click. And so it's in that position. Then push it again to eject it. And then push it again, wait like a second or two. That should retain enough juice in the power supply to actually boot the machine up. If that power light doesn't go on at all, that means you have a bad power supply. And that power supply needs to be replaced. They are unfortunately notorious for dying. I knew someone, a relative of mine, who had one die like maybe 3 years after they bought the system. So my bet would be on the power supply of that. So I don't know if just a PRM battery will work for that, unfortunately. Just following up with the chat, my PowerBook 165 won't turn on. Had to corrode a battery in it. Yeah. But tinkerdifferent.com is my go-to for help in all this stuff. So if you have a question that I can't answer during the show, tinkerdifferent.com, Tinker, different.com. I'm on there. A lot of awesome people in the chat here are on there too. I reflowed a lot of joints on my Mac Plus several times, but I still have the occasional vertical deflection twitching. It could just be a tired flyback. It could just be there's this grease. I forget the name of the grease, but Bruce will know, that you put around the anode cap. It fixed one of Sean's iMacs recently. I would wonder if it's something to do with that. But I mean, these machines are getting up to be close to 35, 40 years old. Centrist does not need a battery to boot. Excuse me, I didn't have a battery in mine. It booted right up. All right, so Savvy Sage did not test this with a different analog board, so we will test that. Hey, Jeremy, how's it going? This thing board were perfectly fine for years. Well, that's what happens to all these things. They work fine until they don't. Oh boy. Is there an ATX power supply conversion for the PowerMax 7500? That I am not sure of. I want to say yes. I'm sure there's dielectric grease. Thank you very much, Michael. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm sure someone has had something. Take a look around on the Googles. I'm sure someone will give you an answer. Still doing it. Hitting the machine resolves it temporarily. There might just be like a component on the analog board that's flaky. It's really hard to diagnose that, but I would post that on tinkerdifferent.com. Maybe somebody has had a similar issue and has been able to resolve it. Anyway, let me grab my known good classic analog board chassis thingamajig, and hi Gus. We'll test this board before we do anything to it. So, picked up an Apple CRT monitor for the purpose of repairing the plastic and possibly pass it on to another Mac collector. Very cool. All right, I'll be back in just one moment. Let me go grab this. Alrighty, I'm going to put this down on the desk over here. Move some things around, then I'll move the camera. I need a power cable, actually. Let me grab another one. I thought I had... Yeah, here we go. Things are a bit different and cramped here because I'm testing out a new network attached storage, or a NAS, and testing out a free NAS build. So right behind me is a massive server. Well, it's a PC tower that's acting as a server. But it is a big boy. Alright, let's adjust this a little bit. Hi! There we go. Forgot to attach the yoke. Roger! It all happens to us. The best of us make those oopsies. Don't worry about it. 51 viewers, first of all, hello. And 70 likes. Very nice. But yes, smash the like button, please. Subscribe and all that fun stuff. Snazzy of you. Alright, Bruce, good luck. We'll try not to blow anything up while you're gone. Alright, so this is my Color Classic. Color Classic? Why do I keep calling it a Color Classic? I guess I wish it was. Alright, let's move the camera down. Sorry, the heat gun pipe is like right in the way of everything. Let me try and adjust some things here. Give us some more room. That's a bit better. You see my fat gut and everything. Crashing MacBook Pro. I cannot help you with that. This is way too new for me. I mean, someone on like a Tinker Different forum or the interwebs could probably help you with that, but no clue with that. Oh, we're going to be out of focus today. Awesome. So what I'm using a standard ATX cable. Oh, come on, you dum-dum. I'm using a standard ATX extension cable here. And all I do is just find the appropriate way to plug that in. And then I can plug in the board pretty easily. How you plug it in on the classic board and on the SE, because you could do this with SE also. But you can't mix up the chassis for an SE and a classic. I believe their pinouts are slightly different. But you just find where it fits. I believe it's like this. And there you go. So you have it hanging off sort of where the battery, pointed to where the battery is. But yeah, it'll work that way. And it's great for testing, because that way you can turn things on and off, you can probe things without having to insert the thing in the machine and out of the machine and all that stuff. So let me go grab a keyboard so we can do a quick test of this thing. So this is before doing any work to it. This is just testing Sage's board as is, just to see if it's going to miraculously work in a different chassis, which would point to an analog board problem. Last time Logic will work, sound was working, hit the reset button, didn't work. It always freezes the system every time I push that button. Well, we're about to find out if it's happier or sad in my basement. Plug the keyboard in because the Macintosh Classic, the original one, has a built-in ROM you can boot off of holding down Command Option XO. And I understand this is not the best view here, but yeah, well, there is built-in memory on board. So, all right, and all I got was the board. I didn't get any accessories or anything with it. This is just a mental note for myself because I will forget. All right. Yes, the floppy meter. We can test the voltages with that. It's upstairs, though. I didn't build it. But KMag Vintage made an excellent little diagnostic tool, which basically allows you to test voltages from the floppy drive port very easily. So, Command Option hugs and kisses. I love it, Sci-Fi Surfer. Oh, gosh. That's hilarious. All right. Let's try not to blow anything up, because Bruce isn't here yet. Well, he's in a meeting. All right. So, let's see what happens. So it chimed, holding down Command Option XR. Look at that! Got a cursor. And if it wants to, it should boot from the ROM disk. Is it XR or OX? I thought it was XR. I thought it was XR. XO. Ah, see, that's me being dumb. Too many things in my brain. That's right. I was doing the keyboard command, and I'm like, you know what? It's too easy to hold these keys. You have to, like, you know, when you're in an awkward position, your mind remembers it better. And I was like, this isn't right. Thank you. Command Option XO, as Ron says. And hello, Ron. Hugs and kisses. Good way to remember. Are you sure you want a desktop to be rebuilt on boot disk? You're going to rebuild a RAM disk? Like a ROM disk, rather? I mean, sure. Go nuts. Oh, shoot. It's like, nope. Oh, boy. Well, let's push the reset button. Yeah, that's the interrupt. Alright, well, it's happier now. Maybe I was holding it down for too long or something like that. But, yeah, the system is booting fine. 1 whole megabyte of memory. Let's shut this down, plug a blue SCSI in. Because I have some testing programs on there. I'm still going to boot from the RAM disk, though. The ROM disk, rather. Jeez, look at me mixing up my words. Oh, thank you, Ron. Yep. Thank you very much for the super chat. Command Option Gus Gus, happy birthday. System 7.1 needs more memory to start up. No, we're booting from the ROM disk, you silly thing. But thank you very much, Ron. That is greatly appreciated. There we go. I know. I have a suspicion that it either just likes my basement or maybe it's the analog board that's not properly giving you the right voltage. I would invest in a multimeter. They're only about $40. Like a Kaiweets KM601 will do you perfect. And that way you could test the voltages on the floppy drive, or you could buy one of those great kits that KMac Vintage is selling. And I'm going to ask KMac if he could please put a link in the chat. So people could see his awesome work. Sorry, now the chat removed. There we go. They're terrified of your basement. Yeah, that happens. All right, so let's open up. I don't know if we have enough memory to run Snooper 2, so we're just going to run Snooper 1. And this is going to test the processor and everything. If it passes this test, Savvy Sage, I would say it's good to go. I would suspect your analog board is the issue there. But that's just my preliminary understanding of this, because the board looks pretty clean. I will give it an ultrasonic clean, if you'd like, just to, root out anything. However, there is a risk of it breaking in an ultrasonic cleaner. That has happened before. It says all systems are go. It tested the RAM. It tested SCSI. Actually, wait. What did it do? Oh, RAM disk is on, so it can't test the RAM. Okay. So let's boot from the floppy MU here. And then we can test the RAM. So let's plug that in. We'll also be able to test the floppy functionality of this. And it's going to complain that it can't boot up. No, it's going to boot to system. No, don't boot. Go to the floppy. Please. Yay. I did test the reset button. It reset very happily. So SCSI works because I was able to boot from or see a SCSI hard drive on it, so that's great. So, and Snooper passed the SCSI test. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to run Snooper 1 again. It's going to do a memory test now that we're not booted up from the ROM. Sorry, just catching up on the chat here. Analog board issue. I have to get my analog. Oh, what'd you beep at? Bad keyboard. Well, I thought the keyboard was fine before, so that's odd, but sure. Let's see if it'll do more unhappy beeps. But it says CPU okay, keyboard bad, mouse okay, RAM okay, SCSI okay, floppy okay, modem port, printer port, System failure, well, for the keyboard. Clock is okay. Let's see if it tests the keyboard again. It says bad. It makes no sense because the mouse is going through the keyboard. Hold on. Let's just like open up teach text. It was working before. It just could be unhappy. There you go. KMac Vintage put in the link. Let me just pin that message temporarily. And so I believe on his Ko-Fi page, you could take a look at the floppy disk voltage kit dealy thingamabobber. Friend Square, not too bad. You're not too late. Test the reset button while you're at it. I will do that again. Sorry, just catching up on the chat here. Yes, thank you, Ron. And hello, Showfox. If anyone wants to like the stream, feel free to do so. Yay! Oh, I'm breaking a lot of things. Mike, sorry that you didn't get the message right away. I forget that you're not on all the socials. But Eep, thank you very much, Mike, for the super chat. I'm not breaking anything. This thing actually worked before I touched it, so how about that? Wouldn't that be nice? Yep, no worries, Sage. One sec. Bad keyboard. No, this is an Apple. What is it? Apple keyboard, just like the standard. This thing. Why am I showing where the camera isn't? It's this guy. This one works. Because if we open up, where's teach text? Here we go. And I know you can't see the screen too well. I apologize. Teach text requires System 7. Well, I guess we ain't gonna do that. I mean, I could type so in the disk thing. So I know that that works. I don't know why Snooper said the keyboard was bad. I don't think we have enough memory to do any other further tests with Snooper 2, but I can throw some more memory into this and take a look. Let's just push that reset button that Sage wanted me to push in 3, 2, 1. And it's rebooting. And it's going to try and probably boot off of the floppy disk. Yep, there it goes. So the reset button works fine. No problem with that. Hey, Joe, how's it going? Notepad. Lucas, I would suggest tinkerdifferent.com. Even though you're having like a modern issue, it's probably the best way to try and get some help. YouTube chat goes by way too quick for proper things. I know, Savage Age. I think it's your analog board's probably not supplying the right power. The analog boards in these things are notorious for being crap. But the good news is your logic board is okay, because the analog boards can be fixed pretty easily, usually, maybe, kind of. But yeah, so I'm gonna say you're in good shape. I'm still gonna take a look under the microscope, just in case anything is really wonky. But it's now safe to shut off our Macintosh, and that's what we have done. But that confirms a few things. Your sound chip works, your ROM works, the SCSI works, and a lot of things work. Everything works. It's not often I get a board where things actually freaking work. It's very rare. But that being said, we will do our due diligence just to make sure. It could be the analog board that you have. That it just could be that. I'm just guessing here. I have not seen the analog board. Not that I recommend mailing those. I do not do that repair because it's not fun. That hose keeps getting in the way. There we go. But let's take a look under the microscope. Let's just... Did I plug the microscope in? No, I did not. Oh, that's going to be a problem. Hold on, please. And Ron, thank you for promoting people to like the stream. Yay! Okay. Had a classic after a few hours. Had issues. Turned on. Yeah, I mean, what I will do is, because I'm gonna have to use this chassis for other things. What I will try and do is I will try and just let it run for like 20 minutes after the stream and just see if anything different happens. But let's take a look under the microscope, just see if we could see anything. It looked pretty darn clean to me, but let's take a look and see. Hey, Juxtapaz, how's it going? Don't worry, Savvy Sage, because I am an expert, kind of, sort of, maybe. All right, so let's take a look at the capacitors on your board. I see some crud, like there's some little junk between like the chips and stuff. So this a clean will help this generally. Really not seeing anything too bad just yet. There's a bit of solder just splashed on the plastic there. We'll get that away with my terrible, terrible tweezers. But whoever did this didn't do a terrible job. So these caps generally look okay. There's not a lot of caps on this board. There's 8. Let's see. So we have the sound chip here, which is looking pretty good. And the board looks pretty clean. There's a potentially rough trace here. But that just might be some crud. Nope, that looks like it might need some repair. So we could run a trace repair there. I have no idea where to put my scalpel, which is probably not good because, boy, I tell you, stepping on that, you're in for a bad time. Just make sure I didn't leave it somewhere stupid. But you know, I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying what I see under the microscope. Yeah, I test some continuity in a few places. Let me just see if I put the scalpel in a silly position someplace, somewhere. Hold, please. Not the exact type of tool I want to lose, because, ouch. But I usually put in a good spot. Oh boy, you idiot, Steven. Where the hell did you put it now? Somewhere, that's where. I mean, well, I could use this old blade just to make a little note here. Let's zoom in. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but yeah, that looks like it's still making a connection. So, you know, we'll clean this up a little bit. I'll put some UV solder mask on some areas where, yeah, that's even fine, where it needs it, but rust on some of the chips. Well, let's look at some of these chips and see. I mean, hey, if all classic logic boards look like this, we'd be better off. Yeah, I mean, there's some crud here. You're very right about that. So my microscope needs to be cleaned, at least where the camera is. We're getting some blooming here. But yeah, there's some crud here. We want to wipe that away. So we'll give this an ultrasonic cleaning, just to make it happy. And we'll have a little burn-in test for it, just to make sure that when things heat up, it doesn't go haywire or anything like that. But yeah, there's some crust here and there, but nothing terrible, which is good. Hey, Bruce. Ultrasonic cleaner. Yeah, sorry. I mean, brain hurt, bad go. So, Bruce, what happened is Savvy Sage sent me this board, but I believe he's having an analog board issue because board works fine with me. Snooper passes it with flying colors, and it looks awfully clean. Only seeing some very minor things like, you know, this little solder ball that we scraped off of the cap before, and things like that. So, it can use a bit of touching up here and there. There is some crud under some of these chips. So we want to give that a deep clean. But other than that, I think we're in pretty good shape. I was saying if all classic boards looked like this, we would have much easier jobs. So, yeah, that's what I suggested to him, is to get one of those kits that KMac Vintage has, or if they wish to get a multimeter and test the voltages that way. But either way, I would suspect the voltages on their analog board would be out of whack. The crud could come from a lot of things. It could come from just goo from these old capacitors leaking, which these are not the originals. These have been replaced, but it could come from goo from them leaking. It also could be just from corrosive gunk that just finds its way through the air, or from the battery, or just where it's stored, dust, all that stuff. But, yeah, if you have a multimeter, anyone should do. But, yes, the crud fairies. Yes. So, yeah, there we go. I haven't drinking out of this water bottle in a while. And that water does not smell fresh. So, we're going to replace that. Bruce has an excellent video, and I'm sure he'll slam it in the chat there in a moment, that tells you the pinouts on the floppy port. So, you do not need to have the darn thing open even. You could just use the floppy drive port, the external floppy drive port, and just test the voltages. And KMac Vintage has a device that plugs in and does the same thing without the multimeter. So it is certainly something that is not terribly hard to do. And I would suggest you try that out, and that would help give you an understanding what's going on with your Mac there, if it's an analog board issue or what. Because it certainly looks that way to me. So, yeah. All right, so let's get a better view here. Hi. There it is. There's Bruce's video. And I'm actually going to run upstairs and get a new bottle of water real quick. So I'm going to put on the Be Right Back music. You could groove to that. I'll be right back in like 2 minutes. And we're back. All right. Oh no, what did Joe say? What did Joe say? Hold on, let me scroll up. Hey Steve, once you powder on a logic board, how do you prep it to be safe to be in an ultrasonic cleaning bath? That is, how do you guard against discharge from the caps? Not really concerned about that. If I was doing something that packed a real punch, like an analog board or something, I'd probably let it, like, calm down for 48 hours or something like that, but that's generally not something I'm too concerned about. Probably is something I should think about, but my mind has never went there. I wonder if Bruce has a smarter answer. It's alright. Joe says, my Apple III replacement RAM board doesn't work, but it's really close to working. Well, let me know, because my RAM board's kind of like... I'll grab the Quadra 840 logic board that's doomed. There you go. Not the bowler bag. No! Stand back. Don't throw rocks in my basement, Joe. How dare you? Well, I'm glad we helped narrow down some things, Savvy Sage. At least, the logic board works, seemingly. So we'll do some work on it and see if it passes the burn-in test. So, all right. So let's move Savvy Sage's board aside. And I just knocked over my water bottle. How about that? It was closed. Don't worry. And now we have another Color Classic. Why do I keep saying that? My brain is broken. That's why. We have another Classic board. This is from a Macintosh Classic 2, and rumor has it that this computer may or may not have been in infinite loop for a long period of time. So this board came to me from a friend that I met at VCF East, and yeah, this was something that has been sitting here waiting to be recapped for a bit, and it does work. It actually works fully. It's in very good shape. Other than the dust and crud that's all over it. So we're going to recap it just to make sure that this thing survives the test of time. So, all right. Let's see. Well, did you just rename the toast image to .iso? Because that's just, like, usually how it works. Oh, thank you very much, Juxtapaz. I'm terrible at pronouncing names, so I hope I'm like at least 20% there on that one. But yeah, that was very unexpected. Luke basically had a sick machine and found out I fixed things. And yeah, so that was a thing. Let me put this memory over here so I do not misplace it. But that was certainly an adventure, because Macintosh portables, my goodness, they're not easy to fix. And after I did that video with him, got a ton of people just spamming me going, I have a Macintosh portable that doesn't work. Can you fix it for me? I'm like, no. I'm renamed them to ISO and they mount in an emulator. I've even had them mount perfectly fine on a Blue SCSI. So I don't know exactly what you're trying to do there. But the modern systems will not mount a toast image. It'll say the file system is not there because it's a modern Mac. It has no idea what the hell you're trying to do. So, all green on my end there, Sci-Fi Surfer. So, YouTube must be crapping itself or something. Sorry if YouTube's crapping the bed, but according to my OBS, 0 drop frames. So, anywho, some hamster, some poor hamster on the YouTube servers must have had a heart attack or something. Alright, but as you can see, if I click the button here, this board does have a bit of grime to it. So, Sage, your board is cleaner than this one by a lot. I'm streaming from a portable mic. That'll be hilarious. But look how much crud has collected, and there's certainly a lot of green here. So this is a perfect candidate for an ultrasonic clean. I mean, just look at all this crud here. I mean, woo. But this board works perfectly. The sound was in and out for a little bit. But it does work great. It booted up just fine. But look at how much dust. I mean, this might be infinite loop dust here. So this is rare Steve Jobs dust. I know what I have. The bidding starts at $8,000. As is, no returns. As you can see, this one has the bodge wire, which is very, very common on Classic 2s. And I recently got a Classic 2 board that was purely parts because it was destroyed beyond belief. But this egret chip, I think, is the cause of a lot of these problems on these boards. And Kate, I still have that Classic board that you sent me ages ago, the Classic 2 board. And I'm wondering if I swap that egret chip with this, with that parts board I have, if it'll spring to life again. I don't know if you still need that. I know it was sort of a spare board at the time. But I will I will poke around with that out of curiosity, even if you have interest of all. But oh gosh, yeah, look, we see some corrosion there. That's not fun. Gosh darn egret. Yep, exactly. Sorry, what did I miss? What did I miss? You upload a toast file directly to your Pi SCSI. The PowerBook didn't know what to do with it. Well, your PowerBook might need like a CD-ROM driver, or I don't know. It's hard to tell the exact setup. Again, troubleshooting on YouTube ain't the best. It worked perfectly when you got it, but it's been sitting around for a year. The caps probably leaked a bunch in that time. No, it did not. This was just tested the other day, and it worked perfectly fine. When I say VCF East, I mean the most recent events. All right. Ugh. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Yep, no worries, Kate. I will make sure that's still on my to-do list. Yeah, no, I don't think this one has leaked from the 2 weeks it's been sitting here. But I figured it's going to jump the line just a little bit because I was already working on a classic board. And since this is sitting here and it needs a good scrub, that's what we're going to do. Look at this serial number here. B113636G065, Singapore 630-04157. And you just look at the stripe of gunk on there. Blech. 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 All right. Yeah, so this is the revision A. If those of you who with a keen eye may have noticed, the Classic 2 boards came in 2 revisions. You know what I hate about the Revision 2 boards? They put a bloody cap right here between the plastic of this main board power connector and the battery holder. Like right there. You could barely stick your fat finger, at least my fat finger, through there. And it is the worst to remove. Getting a soldering iron in there, and it's not fun. So yeah, this is a Revision A. You could also tell because it has 4 of these ROM chips, where the Revision B has 2. But, yeah, anyway, someone said that they recapped a classic, but it was not, would not start. Yeah, I would check very carefully around the egret chip. Sorry, I lost the name again. Yetshi, welcome to the chat. Yes, and Bruce says, more caps. Oh, more caps are better. I would check very carefully around the egret chip. I believe there's a schematic out there for the classic or the Classic 2, but I'm not sure which revision it is. But that might help you a little bit. But yeah, this one is, this one. Very crusty. So what we're just going to do is we're going to clean this up a little bit. We'll let the ultrasonic cleaner do all the hard work. I already know this works, so I'm not going to go too crazy. But what I do want to do is get these caps off of here and clean the area. Like we have some gunk right under this chip here. And this is the sound chip right next to all these lovely caps here on the Classic 2. But I want to just whip these caps off and prevent any further damage from this lovely, rare Steve Jobs Macintosh Classic 2. Before I go, mind if I post a link to my channel if the chat allows me? You might be able to. See if YouTube eats the link. If you don't see the link, then probably ate it. But I will give you a verbal shout out, just in case. Savvy Sage, subscribe to their YouTube channel. They have a great video about the Apple II. And I believe they have a video on the Classic. This actual board that we were looking at before. Before their analog board decided to be sad. Alright, so let's... I don't know if members can post links. YouTube is weird. They used to not care. But, rare Steve Jobs dust. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. There's more dust where that came from. Plenty of dust. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to... Oh, yeah. So this cap isn't the best either. It's right between the plastics of the floppy connector and the battery. So that's going to be a fun one. This is also one I hate. And this is right up against the ADB port. It's just like getting your iron right there. It's like... That's annoying. Steve Jobs dander. Rare. Oh, gosh. Alright, so, yeah, let's pour a gallon of flux on this board and use some hot air to whip these caps off. Now, I know some people don't use hot air. They don't prefer it. It's the method I prefer most of the time. Now, it could very well be that we'd have to resort to some other methods. But we're going to try here and just see if this will come quietly. Hopefully it will. Steve Jobs at least owned an SE or an SE30 because someone contacted me to try and fix it up. Realized I was on the wrong coast and they're like, yeah, screw that. Oh, I do that guy, the thing. And yeah, I didn't get to play around with that. If I did, I probably would have imaged the hard drive. Alright, let's get this thing moved around here. Hope everyone's doing well today. I said that at the beginning of the stream, but I still mean it. Oh yeah, Ron of Ron's Computer Videos did a great video on Glypha, the black and white game that you ride around a little horse guy, or the bird thing, ostrich, brain, and yeah, they remastered it for Steam and recreated it to be playable on modern platforms on your PC or your Mac. So I think it's called Glypha Vintage, and Ron did a video about that the other day. And the Macintosh Librarian is an amazing person, and as part of like their awesome Patreon perks, they're like, well, yeah, here's just like a free download code for the game. So there you go. But if you didn't get a download code, if you're not a patron of Kate, go and go onto Steam or wherever it's sold. I think it's only like $3 or $4 or something like that. But yeah. All right. Look, you got a sub. There you go. All right. Jobs are the job. We'll discuss before. Yeah. All right. Let's get some hot air on this thing. Let's see. I have the temperature set too low, so I have to put this back up. Oops. Fat fingers. All right. Hey, Eric. How's it going? Hope you're doing okay. We have a classic 2 board here. I really should put that. I should be fancy like Bruce here. I have all the things set up here. I'm just too lazy to actually put anything up on the damn screen. Where's the thing? Right there. But was the thing? Text go there? Maybe no. Maybe there. No. Sad. Sad go thing. There go. We watch Steve's brain break live. We'll shove that in the corner there. It's too small. That's close enough. Alright, there we go. You caught a live stream game, Ian. Congrats. Glad you can make it. Alright, so we're going to try and whip these caps off and not break anything. At least that's the plan. You know. Well, this will be fun. I hate this. I absolutely hate this. I mean, sure. Let's start with the worst one. And I don't know where my Kaplan tape went. Recycle it like a very sad person here. But this is sort of heat resistant, so we'll protect some of the plastics to a degree, but I'm also going to use this little PCI bracket just to cover it. But, hey, Jay, where the hell have you been? Steve's got a stroke. Oh, that happens 20 times a day, Joe. You should know by now. Alright, let's try and get this poor little cap off of here. Oh, it smells delicious! Oh God, that's terrible. That's a stinky cap. Hey, Eric, how's it going? Oof. Oof, that stinks. Where's my trash pail? There it is. Oh gosh. Stinky caps all around. See that pad puff up a little bit? Nah, just some old solder. Oh, you got some solder balls here. Oh yeah, this is going to be a perfect candidate for the ultrasonic cleaner. Just like the comparison between Sage's board and this one, you can just tell. You can just tell this is going to be a crusty one. We got some lovely little solder balls here because we use the heat gun, and that's just, it comes with the territory, and you just got to deal with it. Because what happens is there's like sort of a layer of fresh solder, and then there's the layer of all the crud solder that has been sitting there for years and years and years. And when you heat it up, things start to bubble and go wee. And yeah. But these will all come out and come off the board in the ultrasonic cleaner. At least they should. So, hey Garth, bye Garth. Love you, Garth. All the Erics. Erics assemble. Hope everyone's doing well today. All right, so let's remove the rest of the caps from the board. Hopefully they're not going to be as stinky. And he was wrong. Yeah, they ain't tweezer Jay. I know. I have to find like the other 5 pairs of tweezers I have. These are what happened? When I pushed the button wrong? These are not tweezers. These are capacitor holding tweezers. Yeah, that's the ticket. Let's cover that up quickly. All right, let's get these off of here. That was a twofer. In the trash they go. Next. These little caps usually come off quite easily. Whoop, I dropped the cap in my pants. And now it's on the floor. If the cap popped in my pants, I would have never heard the end of it from Trina. Oh, this cap is like barely touching anything. It's funny. What a disgusting capacitor that is. Let's turn this off for a second so I can clean up the bits that fell onto the floor. Well, I've lost the bits that fell onto the floor. Good thing they're not important. Maybe I should just move the trash can, like, by my legs. Now that would make way too much sense. Cap waffles! Tired of those boring crotch waffles? Yeah, they don't taste that good anymore. Introducing cap waffles with pure electrolyte syrup. Mmm, delicious! And to anybody who has no idea what's going on, it's probably for the best. Bet you can't pop just one. Speaking of popping caps, we have to worry about the plastic right next to these guys. I think the heat is turned up a little bit too high on this, but oh, that one stinks. Oh, that was awful. Oh, God. The humanity. This one I can't do under the microscope because I have to move it in a weird way, so sorry. I can barely get my damn tweezers in this one. Alright. All the caps are off the board, and look how delicious that is. More of a fishy, disgusting smell, yes. Can't get the 30... Well, somebody might have ripped that badly, because a CDR file is usually ripped in OS X, and it could be weird, who knows. 3400C restore image. What I would do, electrical outlet, is take the contents of that disk and like use an emulator and make like a fresh disk image or something of it. Wait. What are you opening it in? What are you opening it on a modern Mac and it's saying like the disk is uninitialized or anything like that? Because that would be a problem. Toast image converted CDR, then renamed ISO. You shouldn't have to do that though. Sour cat flavor. Is this on Macintosh Garden or somewhere where I could easily poke at it? Because now I'm curious. Pies, because you won't recognize anything other than Mac formatted ISO. Sounds like a personal problem. You can't do that. That's illegal. Hey, 4 a.m. How's it going? Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure on that. That's fine on the old OS X. Where'd you get this disk image from? I can't seem to... Was it just PowerBook 3400? That's what I'm going to search for. Where the hell is it? Is it under the System 7.6 thingamajigs? Yeah, Joe has a good point where some of the disk images, unfortunately, on Macintosh Garden are just like somebody ripped it wrong and it's broken. Yeah, see, is it the download number 19 that's just like a SIT file? Because that just screams I did that wrong. There's the German CD, Guten Tag, but that's probably not going to help you out. Oh no, I see. There's 3400cd.zip. Sorry. There's like 8 billion downloads. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to humor you. I'm going to download this. Just see if we can do anything. Do the thing. And see what happens. Where's my downloads? Why isn't it downloading? There it goes. Whee! We did download it in 2 minutes. Tom's has some time to watch. Excellent. All right. Yeah, this board, just like look at that shine of just like layers and layers and layers of crud. Poor little board. It deserves better. Let me just clean this up a little bit. I'm really tempted to just ultrasonically clean this before I do any work on it, but then I won't have anything to recap at the moment, and that's kind of like bleh. I mean, we know it works. What motherboard this is located in the bottom left of the video screen, and this is a Classic 2. Oh, egret, you always fill me with regret. Look at that goo words. And that's just glue that has removed itself from the board. That's okay. That looks a bit better now, don't it? Can you explain why there are soldered-on wires on some Mac boards? Just this. Excellent question. These are called bodge wires, or just little repair jumper wires. So, for whatever reason, let's say 99% of the board works, but there was a fault. Instead of remanufacturing the whole entire board, They thought, well, you know what? We're just going to run this little wire and patch whatever was not connected properly. And there you go. The term bodge wire you'll hear a lot, or a jumper wire. And it's just a repair that was done on the board. Some revisions of Apple's machines have it. Not all of them. But it's something you notice now and again. No worries, Thomas. Just pointed out. Yeah, I mean, look, anything where you have a collection of software or thingamajigs that are contributed by a group of just random people with all sorts of different technical backgrounds, you're going to run into issues, whether it's Macintosh Garden, Archive.org, or that other sneaky place. It's just, you get what you get. I mean, I'm glad that there's stuff here at all, because like half the time it's like, holy crap, like somebody actually has that thing. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just like there's nothing. I mean, you can't find anything. So easy way to make a toast file into ISO or DMG to make disks. Well, you could actually just type in .iso after the .toast file, if the toast file is made correctly. If you just type in .iso, you should be able to burn it with disk utility, and you shouldn't have a problem. You could also burn toast images through disk utility most of the time without a problem. I've never had an issue with that. Or you could you could go to websites and get a copy of Roxio that run on an older system, and you can burn them that way. But you should be able to use disk utility to burn the majority of those toast disks. Sometimes no, but most of them, if they're simple enough. Yeah, I mean, you get what you get. So what I'm going to do is continue to clean this board. I'm getting distracted by things. Words, hard, go. I'm just trying to get some of this crap that's left behind. And I lost my flux already. Here it is. That cough may be a tumor. Don't copy that tumor. Beta Archive has a... Well, you know what, electrical outlet? This is what you got to do now, man. This is what you got to do. If you discover that that one works well, you got to upload it to Macintosh Garden. It's not a tumor. If you discover that that one works, you got to upload it to Macintosh Garden. And you know what? If you discover an image or a download or something that does not work right, and you confirm that it's not just you and nobody can get it to work, make a comment. Be like, hey, like this is not archived properly. Who has a good version of this? Because a lot of people will look on archive.org or Macintosh Garden or one of these sites and be like, oh, that's already there. I'm not going to bother archiving it. Because they don't know that the one there is faulty or incomplete or whatever. So it's up to all of us to make a little bit of stink. You know, we're not telling people who uploaded them, hey, you know, you suck or anything like that. We're just trying to make sure that this stuff is properly archived. And you know what? It can be a pain in the butt to do a lot of this stuff. People are just trying their best. But if you do see a problem, it's up to all of us to make that known and hopefully get it resolved in one way or another. Because the more working copies of this software that are around, the happier a lot of us will be with our old crummy computers that are falling apart and have leaking capacitors and bad traces everywhere. Well, I mean, it doesn't work under the classic Mac OS. You know what I mean. Why am I doing this again? Because I forgot I did it. That's the problem with talking during live streams. You never know if you're just going to keep going. Oh, yeah, those are gross. Yeah, I just mounted it on the Mac Pro here while I was yakking away, and it mounts fine on Mojave. So, well, there you go. Delicious chips. Delicious fuzzy chips. Would you like extra fuzz with your chips today? No, thank you. I'm on a diet. Oh, come on. There only adds 5 calories. All right. Pile on that fuzz. Oh, God. This is disgusting. Look at all this. I just stabbed myself. So, how did you get tetanus, Mr. Steven? Well, I was scrubbing a computer board from 1992 that had a whole ecosystem growing on it, and stabbed myself with something. You have 2 hours to live. Cool. Got a little solder ball hanging under there. Oh my god, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I'll probably have to take these chips off at some point if they don't clean up to my liking. Because, yuck. You have to contribute a software title to get download access. I've never heard of that place, so maybe that's why. I mean, I understand server space ain't free or cheap or anything, but I am not a fan of sites like Macintosh Repository where, like, your first download, you could do it in a minute. But no, wait, you gotta log in. Oh, wait, now you logged in? You gotta pay extra for doing the thing. And it's like, dude, you don't own these files. Yeah, you're providing a service, but, like, it's kind of crummy to charge for it. I mean, if I want to donate, I'm going to donate. And I do donate on a lot of these places. You know, archive.org, Macintosh Garden has a Patreon. But it's like, a lot of the time with these old software, this is at least what happens to me. I'm going to go, oh, I need version 2 of this. And I go download version 2, and it's a bad copy, or it's not the one I need. So what do I have to do? I have to go back and try the next version. And what happens? Oops, you already downloaded it. Please wait 15 minutes until blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, nope, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Whereas sites like archive.org don't do any of that. And Macintosh Garden does not. You don't even have to have an account. Just download it up. Yuck, 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 yuck. Hey, Brian, thank you. I'm fixing to cut a compact flash slot into the back of my Performa's back cover. I just replaced the still working hard drive with a compact flash adapter. Which Performa is this? Thank you very much for the super chat. Eep! I have to buy some 3D printer filament. I'm just so you'll be going on return. I'm sure I will, Bruce. Please send help. Well, that's a pretty damn good website then. I am cheap, Grandpa. Get off my damn lawn, or I'll sue you. I know exactly why Macintosh Garden requested to be delisted from Google. Because how do you think most of the download requests, takedown requests happen? Gee, Adobe hired me to go out and find software that is not allowed to be posted online. I'm just going to do a Google search. Hey, look, there's Adobe Acrobat or whatever the heck. I'm going to submit a takedown request. You know what's harder? To, like, manually go to a site and search for it. So, yeah, it's a mild inconvenience, but it keeps the damn website up online, and that's all that matters to me. And they're improving their search every day, which is great, so. Alright, just trying to get some of the crud out of there. Hey, Rudy, how's it going? Yeah, that's, I explained why they didn't, but I understand the chat has a super long delay, so I'm not trying to sound snarky. I'm just explaining. Oh, that's a lot of crud there. It's crud-tastic. It's crud. All this crud. Ugh, ugh, oh, God. Oh, it's disgusting. Where the hell did I put my damn scalpel? I bet Bruce stole it. Yeah, he flew over here like a 22-hour plane ride. Drove in a car for an hour from the airport. Snuck into the basement. Looked at all the beautiful Macintosh computers I have here. And stole the one thing he knew I would miss. My scalpel. It'd be funny if I was like sitting on it. That would suck. Electric brush. You know what? Mike gave me an electric brush, and I actually picked up one of the little whatever the part I needed for it, and it works okay, but it's a little too much. I tried it on a busted board and it just like blew a resistor off, and I'm like, you know, with this I could sort of feel like there's a tactile feel of how much pressure you're putting on something. While with that, I'm sure it will be good for some circumstances, but probably not for this delicate work here. I'm sure it will work fine for other cases, and I've seen other people use them. Here's a solder ball. But in this particular scenario, I'm a bit more comfortable being able to feel everything a bit easier, if that makes any sense at all. Resistor should not have resisted. No, it didn't resist enough. That was the problem. It was like, ah! And like ripped a pad off with it. But it was appreciated, Mike. Don't get me wrong. Oh yeah, look at that crud on these pads. That's what you're seeing, folks, when you see sort of like it become muddy around the area. That's delicious crud, and I can smell it. And I assure you, you don't want that on your board. Resistance is futile sometimes. Mike. Mike, you haven't streamed in a while. I know you've been busy. But I could go for a Prada stream. Tell Prada they need to get their fuzzy butt back on your lap as you blow up something. And don't tell me you don't have anything to stream with. Or about. Just do something. I'll watch it. I know a lot of people here will too. Is that an acorn? Or a dead bug? Probably a dead bug. Why would it be an acorn, Steven, you idiot? Oh, you guys stream Saturday. Excellent. This weekend I'm traveling for something, but hopefully, I will catch it. I spy what appears to be a rotted via there. Where is there? If it's next to a component or something, let me know. Like I said, this is going to go through the ultrasonic cleaner, but I'm just trying to clean it up to put caps on. And then we'll go from there. Ugh. So much crud. Every moment I live is crud. Yes. Test it with an analog. Test the analog board with the multimeter is what my advice would be. And Bruce did an excellent video, which he pasted below in the chat, about testing the analog voltages on a Macintosh. I think he uses an SE or a Plus or something like that. But it'll work in pretty much any of the Compact Macs. Some of them you do not get a negative 12 volts on. I forget which ones. But generally speaking, that's an easy way to test that. That trace on backwards, Rudy. You know what? I'm all for hanging out on Dave's stream, Mike, but, go for it. Why the hell not? You know, there's a ton of people that I know that are doing Let's Play streams, or they stream a game, or they're, you know, just doing a leisurely 1 hour stream while they're tidying up their garage or whatever. And, you know, we can't always, unfortunately, have like the complete time. Like someone's always doing something that may overlap you, and even if you try and avoid it, you never know. So I say, if you have time to stream, do it. If people can't watch it then, well, they can watch it after. You might not get all the live interaction you desire, but you have more subscribers than you think, so never hurts. I'd watch it. And, you know, to be honest, there's different types of streams. You know, Dave usually streams with he always streams with a group of people. And so it's not just him, it's a group of people. And now, although I love watching those, and I love participating in some of those, my hearing and my brain does not always like it. So sometimes I will just like be like, nope, this is sensory overload, too many people talking at once, I can't, and I'll like nope out for a bit. Nothing against the content or any of the people there. It's just my brain is like, I can't. And it doesn't happen all the time. I have better days some days, but you know, there are different types of stream, different types of content. So you go for it and try and find a time slot that works for you. And I'm going to barf because of the smell of this board. Holy crap. Even the dry stuff stinks. Ugh. Via is the middle of the bottom two caps, is the one set of 4. This guy right here. This little guy right there. Is that what you're talking about? I will pause for station identification. Mike. But yeah, when you first join or start a stream, YouTube has some requirements you have to meet. Just kind of silly. All right, no worries, Thomas. Take care. Oh, there's plenty of other wastes of bandwidth, Joe. Let me count the ways. There is middle of the bottom two caps in the one of those sets of 4. I mean, everything is going to be cleaned here religiously because, I mean, there's just goop hiding over here. Ugh. There's a little solder ball hiding. All right, there. There's plenty of goop. All right, under here. Ugh. Ugh. You're staring at the VS, Steve. This is this what you're talking about, Thomas? This thing right here between the pads. Not all vias do have trace points. This is going down to the other side of the board, and it's probably a probe point. There are a lot of them here, if that's what you're referring to. There's one there. There's one there. There's one there. Yeah, it's just a fairly common thing, but it does look quite nasty. So we'll clean them. But no, I don't think that's problematic. Nice and shiny. Yeah, so if we look at the bottom of the board, that's probably this point there. And it's just this resistor going through, and I guess at the factory you could have probed that if you wanted to. But it doesn't really do us much good. Unless we wanted to probe that. I mean, then, like, hey, thank you, Apple, for doing that, so we could probe it. Alright, let's get some caps on this board, huh? Probe points, whatever they're called. There's probably a better name for it. I make this up as I go. Let us know if that 3400 disc works, hey? And when you say Beta Archive, the first thing I think of is Beta Max. So, it shows how old I am. Alright, let's go to my favorite website in the world for recapping a Mac. Well, one of them. There's a bunch of cool ones coming out recently, but the always fabulous, always famous, where the hell's my screen? Jeez. There he is. Always fantastic, always fantabulous. Bruce of Brangus Creations, recapamac.com.au. And you can just go here, click on resources, and like I said, there are 2 of the Macintosh classics here. We have the revision A, and that has the 4 ROM chips there. So we have 8 10 microfarad 16 volt capacitors, 3 47 microfarad 16 volt capacitors, and 2 1 microfarad 50 volt capacitors. And you click on that, you get a nice big image. There we go. So we're going to be using that to put the replacement caps on. Thank you very much, Bruce, for the excellent site. And here's a link in the thingamajig right there. You could just do a .com or a .au. It does not matter. He owns both domains. Is it possible to increase the voltage on the power supplies? There's a knob. Yes. So again, Sage, watch the video that Bruce pointed out. He talks all about the cutoff, what it does, how far you could really push that until you're pushing it too far. Watch that video in detail because that is basically adjusting the voltage for the entire system. You generally should not have to crank that all the way up. Generally, that is made for minute, small adjustments, if something's out of whack or whatever. But 90% of the time, you're going to have to recap that analog board. That's probably the issue there. Oh, I thought you said there was one on there. But anyway, let us know if there's a working image, if you find one. All right, let's get some caps on the board. Let's find the caps that we need to use. So here's our 16 microfarad, 10 microfarad 16 volt capacitors. There's 8 of them. That's usually a lot. Usually you don't have that many of this on a Mac board. Usually there's only like 2, but you never know. Sometimes Apple's like, you know what, let's put more on there. And they said it just like that. Alrighty, so let's take a look at this board. So we have 3 different caps that go in this corner here. This one's a 4716, and this one's the 1 microfarad 50. So we're going to replace these 2 there. And we're just going to put down a wee bit of flux. Whoopsie. I mean, I usually put down too much, but it doesn't really matter. And we're going to put a capacitor down, and we're going to solder it right in place. Now, a tantalum capacitor will have a stripe for the positive, and these caps are just going to fit on the pad. I would not recommend these size capacitors for a beginner because they are not fun to do. You can see you have very little clearance to work on, but these are the ones I have on hand, so it's going to be fine. That's just what I'm going to use. But yeah, normally you would probably want to go with like a 4 or a 3mm cap if you can. Oh wow, thank you, Ron. Yes, we have 48 people watching, 46 likes. Nicely done. Oh, thank you so much. And I appreciate everyone tuning in. I haven't not streamed in like almost 10 days. Unfortunately, I have to get up very early for work tomorrow. I have to go into the office, which is not usually what I have to do. So I can't stay up super duper late. But I figured I'd spend some time with y'all. And I had chili for dinner, so if you hear any weird noises coming out the microphone, that is a duck. That is not me. That is a duck. We're all clear on that? Quack. Exactly. The duck goes quack. Alrighty. What temperature do you use on your soldering iron? Excellent question. Mine is currently set to 425. That is a little bit hot. However, I try and go in and out of things very quickly with my soldering iron. So, I'm not usually applying too much heat. And everyone's temperatures will sort of fluctuate slightly depending on their preference. And I was heating the wrong thing because I'm an idiot. But yeah, that's generally what I keep mine at. For sometimes I'll put it a little lower. Sometimes I'll have to put it a little higher. But generally speaking, that's what I prefer. And I need to do this in a way where I don't melt that too badly. That should be fine. So we'll test it out. Oh, who's leaving? Quack. Oh, good night, Eric. I always just like to give the caps a little bit of a nudge, especially when the area to solder them down is always not enormous, just to make sure I got it. You can always come back and fix that if I need to later. But all right, so we have a few more of these caps to do since they're already on the board. Let's on my desk here. We're just going to do the rest of them. So cap 15, this is the 1 microfarad 50 volt, but these 3 are the smaller one. So the 10 microfarad rather. So we're going to do those. Blip. Blip. And blip. Come on. There we go. Is it worth it to drive 50 minutes one way to buy an image writer 2 for $10? Cody, you are asking the wrong man. Yes, every day, yes. Now, I will say, make sure the damn thing turns on. They are pretty indestructible, but they have a built-in power on test. If you hold down the power, and as soon as you power it on, hold down the power button. I think it's the form feed or the line feed paper. I always get them mixed up. And if there's paper on it, it'll start printing, going brr, 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 brr. And that'll let you know. If there's a red light on it, that means probably the top lid is not secured on there. There's a little magnet that makes a switch. I'd say totally, as long as you really want it, $10 is a heck of a price to pay for one of those. Depending on where you are in the world, sometimes you could get them pretty damn cheap or free. I'd say that's a pretty good value, especially because they're hard to kill. Yeah, I mean, the soldering irons, which usually don't have a temperature readout, it's kind of hard to gauge. I started out with one of those. Actually, mine only had 2. It was a Radio Shack one, and it said like 15 watts or 30. And, yeah, didn't really give me a lot to go on there. But it worked. I got by, and I eventually switched to one that had a dial, which was only marginally better. But, this one has a little readout. And you don't think anything fancy. This one, I think, this is a T12 system, so it's a KSGER, Kazger, or whatever you pronounce it, Kazger. And this was about like $75 or $80, and you had to buy the tip separately, which is like another $12, $13, etc., depending on the one. But I'm very happy with it, and it has certainly been putting up with my abuse. Like when I accidentally had the settings wrong and almost blew it up. That was fun. Need a bit more flux there. Sorry, catching up. Any color ribbon is likely going to be dead. This is true. The color ribbons usually have a foam roller in them, where the black ribbons usually have a black roller, a plastic roller rather. Usually, it's not, I love the color Star Riders. I mean, why not? Let's give me all the old crummy printers. I'll die in a coffin made out of them. Yes, Ron makes a good point about the ribbons as well. Yeah, I mean, hey, look, I'm not saying don't. What I'm trying to say is use what you got, and when you find that that is not working out for you anymore, then consider upgrading to something that may suit your needs better. We all set the start somewhere. And goodness knows the cheapo I am. I usually get stuff from the bottom of the barrel and go, it's the same thing, right? And then like years later when I can finally afford something new, and I'm like, holy crap, this is so much better. But that's just the ways it is, huh? I kept forgetting to put flux right there. It's a little bit of a dab of flux. Why am I talking like Emo Fudd? You wascally capacitor. Steve's getting into the solder fumes again. Alrighty, those are on good. So we have 3 more of these, and that's on this side of the board. Now I'm actually going to switch over to the other caps, because I like putting this one in first, so I have the most room to do. I'll wiggle around with it. Alright, yeah, Ron makes a great point too. If you can pick up one second hand, that's going to even save you even better, as long as it, checks out and you have a good grasp of the situation. You don't want to buy something that's obviously broken or has a good risk of being broken and you can't return it or anything like that. Dodge the stacks. You can try. Or the stacks may dodge you. Actually, no, they'll just fall on you and crush you into oblivion. Capacitors. And computers, they take up so much space. Oh, gosh. Yeah, speaking of image writers, I have way too many of them. But it's hard for me to say no to them. It's just this weird sickness I have. But enough about my terrible, terrible addictions. This is a fun one to do because it's very easy to melt the connector on the sound jack. And I'm actually going to do this not under the microscope because then I have to do it a funny way and it increases that risk. So just going to go and go boop. See, I was able to dip in and there's a huge ass blob of solder on there, but you know what? That's just, I'll tidy up in a bit. I like to do one side of that first, the most annoying side, and leave myself just a little bit of room here, and I could tidy that up. Now, is it perfectly straight? No, but you know what? That one's a pain in the butt to do. And as long as it's happy, I'm happy. There, we got some of that excess solder off, kind of, maybe, sort of. All right, so that's the 4716. The rest of these are the 10 microfarad 16s, and we're almost done recapping this board. Now, we're not done cleaning it. That's going to take the ultrasonic cleaner. But I do have one more board after this we might be able to squeeze in if we're lucky. So we could push our luck. How about that? Yes, flux makes a huge difference. Yes, MacFX.com or .net or whatever is currently making new ImageWriter color ribbons. Although the egret always needs some love and care. It's just blah. I mean, it's fine. This one's fine. There's just a wire soldered onto it. That's why it looks like crap. But I mean, you get a vision for these sorts of things. There's solder balls everywhere. I know it's gonna be crap, but you know what? No, I think this will work fine. I don't think I broke it that badly, as Mike would say. Oh my gosh, we have fun here. Where the hell did all the flux go? Is there flux under there? All right, well, about to find out if that's enough. The answer was no. Thank you very much, Ron, of Ron's computer. Oh, look, there was enough flux in there. I almost ripped the damn cap off because I'm an idiot. Let's fix that, huh? Yes, Ron just linked to the MacFX ImageWriter 2 color ribbon. Years ago, he redid a run of it with the plastic and all that stuff. But apparently it was just like way too costly. But this time he redid it with just the ribbon, and you basically replace what you have, and you might have to replace the little roller. Maybe you can 3D print something. I'm not sure. Haven't used mine yet, to be honest. Totally honest. I have not used mine yet, but I'm glad someone's still making them because the ones I have are ancient, and I don't think they're going to last forever. Yes, there might be. I hope so. 11.25 is not terrible, but yeah, that's definitely not within spec. I'd be more concerned with the 5-volt rail as well, but it's also just a combination of everything, you know. And if the 5-volt is dangerously low, I mean, hey, that's happened to me sometimes too, and it's like, how did this machine even power on? You know, it's like, what? It's like, what is going on here? How does this work? That was the dual floppy Mac that I got that was like cursed. Somehow it still worked, but it was like the voltage is, I think I got like 4 volts or 3.8 or something ridiculously low. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. This is another one where you have to like really just like be careful. Or you could use like the right size caps, like I, for whatever reason, did not want to use today. Probably because I did not order them, or whatever. I have a bunch of caps coming on Friday. A bunch, because Ron of Ron's computer videos has some PowerBooks that need lots of fixing. And I have a bunch of parts to fix them, and I needed the capacitors to fix them. And that's what we'll be doing on the stream for like 20 hours, I'm sure. All right, I think that's okay. Well, you know, the number one rule of vintage Macs, recap it. I'm sorry to say, that's the freaking rule of these vintage systems. Is it not a PowerPC? Recap it. Is it a PowerPC? Probably should recap it anyway. Did it look at you funny? Recap it. Does it smell funny? Recap it. Did it make a weird noise? Recap it. Is it a 68K Mac? Recap it. Does it have the word LC or Performa on it? Recap it. Does it have a power supply? Recap it. Does it have an analog board? Oh, you better recap it. I bet it's a quantum drive. Alright, so we have 2 caps after this that we have to do. But this is the 47 microfarad 16 volt cap. You can see that these pads are slightly bigger, or the area for this cap is slightly bigger because the original cap there was slightly bigger. So it makes this much easier for us to just go blop and blop, and there we go. Go back with it, just a wee bit more solder on this side. Yeah, that's fine. Good night, Francois. Thank you for being dangerously bad with your sleep. I mean, yeah, look, to be all honest with everybody, I was not a big fan of touching anything analog or power supply related. I'm like, look, I'm going to kill myself on a stream. No one wants to see that. Well, probably somebody does. And yeah, I just don't want to go there. But you know what? The more I learned about it, the more I'm like, hey, there, oh, that one's wobbly. That's why you do the wiggle test, folks. I'm like, you know what? If I'm careful about this and I'm not stupid, I'm probably going to be okay. And you know what? Usually I am. Now, granted, I do not do flyback transformer work or analog board work or power supply work for clients because that's not fun. There's so many variables in them that sometimes it's hard to find the right part. There's different revisions. They don't make the parts in the size anymore. And it's just like, yeah, for my own stuff, I don't even like doing it. So I'm not going to do it for a client. It's just not an idea of a fun time for me. But there are people who are very comfortable with that sort of stuff. More power to them. And thankfully, there's plenty of folks out there who enjoy doing that stuff. And who have all the smarts, unlike I do, when it comes to trying to figure out what's wrong with analog circuitry and power supplies and things like that. Because I'll hear somebody say something, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But, you know, understanding that stuff on a level in order to fix that stuff is a skill set I don't have. An electrical engineer, I am not. Yeah, I have a huge arcade cabinet with a CRT that is burned in, and I want to remove the CRT eventually, but yeah, I'm not exactly itching to discharge that thing, although it's probably been off for like 5 years at this point, so you know, it should be fine. But yeah, where's that thingamajig? I have one of these that's full of the well, that might work. Oh boy. Yep, exactly. Tech Knight knows what he's doing. Ian or Sark knows what they're doing. Ooh, a Connor hard drive. Really, those are the people I will go to when I have questions. And God bless them. They're amazing people. That reminds me, I have a CRT for Ian. I have to make sure it finds its way to him. It's an old Sony Trantron from the 70s. You know what? We are all mad geniuses in our way, and I love that diversification of mad genius talent that we have, because it's like, oh, this person does Quadra 840 AVs, unfortunately. Oh, this person does TVs. This person does whatever. And it's like, you know what? That's freaking awesome. Because I am certainly the type of person who will, admit when they are boned and has no idea what the hell they're doing. And unfortunately, in this day and age, a lot of people have like such an ego. They're like, no, I know how to do it, but I don't wanna. It's like, dude, just like if you don't know how to do it, that's totally fine. Like no one really freaking cares. But if you do know something and you want to share that, or you want to help somebody out with something, that's great. But I know when I don't know something, and I'm proud to admit when I don't, because then I learn, or then I figure out, you know what, that's not a job I want to do on my own for a first time figuring this out. I'll trust an expert or someone who's done that like a million times. No shame in it for me. So I don't know what the hell I'm doing half the time anyway. I mean, I'm a professional. These caps taste delicious. Hey Dave, how's it going? Alright, so last two caps on the board here, then we'll fire this up. It worked before, but there's always the chance I screwed it up. He says in our sarcastic tone, hoping secretly he did not screw it up. Yeah, I got a grease weasel at VCF East. I have not played around with it yet. I believe it uses a standard PC floppy drive. And the person selling them was like, kind of like, yeah, it'll archive Mac discs, I think. And I'm like, you know what? I've been using the applesauce. I have one of those cryo or chirofluxes, however you pronounce the damn thing. I always forget. And I'm like, you know what? I'll get one of these grease weasel thingamabobbers and figure it out. See if it's a good alternative for whatever. So that's something I have to do a video on. Add it to the very, very long list. Alright. The link here does not work. Frederick, I pretty much am not. The problem is, as Bruce has seen, this stuff just takes forever. This was a job that I had promised a friend ages ago. And they were on this side of the country. And I had them bring it over. And Sage's board has been with me since 2022. And that just tells you how backed up I am with a bunch of this stuff. There's a bunch of problematic stuff. And it's like, ugh. Now, occasionally, if something piques my interest, or I think, you know what, maybe I could help, I may, we missed a cap, how foolish of us. I may decide to accept it, but it's one of these things where I have such a backlog where it's like embarrassing. So Frederick, unfortunately, I don't really have those recapping services really available. I simply have not had the time. I mean, you could just tell how infrequent I've been streaming, but I have not had the time to really do them in a way that is appropriate for my customers. No one's gonna really wait like 2 or 3 years to get something fixed. And it's just, it's just something that unfortunately I don't think I'll have the time for. However, that being said, there are amazing other people who are picking up this hobby. Some have a bit more time on their hands. K-Mac Vintage is doing some repairs. I don't know if they're open to repair work. Joe's Computer Museum, on and off, does some work as well. So it doesn't hurt to go on like tinkerdifferent.com and see who's offering services. I will say, not to bash anybody in particular, but there are some people who do some of these repairs that you just have to make sure that you are very clear of what your expectations are. If you want them to do some testing, or you want them to, do this or that, be very clear up front of your expectations. Because you may run into a scenario where you get something back and it doesn't work, and maybe they didn't have the parts to test it or whatever. Because there's a lot of people who used to do like radio repairs or whatever who are getting into doing computer stuff, but they may not have all the equipment to test it out. So just something to keep aware of. Keep in mind, rather. Yeah, I wish all the projects were quick and easy ones. Like this classic. If this works, that's like, yay, feel better. Yay, yay, yay. All right, 10.75 volts on the 12 volt, 4.49 on the 5 volt. I'd say that 12 volt is looking pretty low. But Frederick, how However, that being said, if you do send me an email at mac84tv@gmail.com with the information, I may be able to suggest somebody to help you out there. Amiga of Rochester's okay. I don't have any particular problems with them. I've had to repair one of the boards that they repaired. I don't know what occurred between then and then, but it needed to be fixed. Now, I'm not perfect. I'm just saying, you want to make sure your expectations are met. So you send it to whoever it is. Make sure that you say, hey, you're going to test it. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. Yep. No worries, Frederick. All right. So I think we're all good with the caps. Let's make sure that none of these are going to fall off the board. We have our 47s. We have our 16s. I'm going to check the polarity. So the stripe is pointed towards the positive mark on the board. That is, let me move this way. That one's good. This one's good. This one's good. This one's good. Good. Yep. 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 And yep. And I'm just going to make sure that we didn't screw anything up by placing the wrong ones in the wrong spots. Nope. Looks like we're all good. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a clean. How did you get into this and have your electronic skills? Well, Sci-Fi Surfer, that's an excellent, excellent question. I have absolutely no idea. No, so I've always been interested in just like how things work. Our first computer that was brought home, we had a Macintosh 2CX, the first Mac we had in the house was the Macintosh 2CX, and my dad did graphic arts work, and so he needed a computer at the home eventually. And it was one of those things where it was like magical to me. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. I want to learn how that works. And, I learned at home, and then at school, I sort of got an interest in it as well. Just, by playing around with them. And, I eventually followed in my father's footsteps and did some graphic design freelance stuff. And when I ran into problems, I had to try and fix them by myself. So my very rudimentary tech support journey sort of blossomed out of necessity. And it's only been the last, my goodness, 7 years, 8 years that I've been trying to at a component level fix this stuff. I've been trying to fix up old machines since the early 2000s because that's when I got most of my collection. That's when they were still dirt cheap. And, it was just something I would do in my spare time because I'm a nut. But, I had a fondness for these old systems because I grew up with them. And it's just one of those things that, interested me. So it's just sort of how I got into this, roughly. But it's certainly something that is an acquired taste. Whoops, I dropped something. You want to make sure that, you find it interesting and fun because, as Bruce and I have said on many of our streams, we'd make more working at a fast food restaurant if we were, preparing these things for clients. So a lot of it is just hey, you know what? I just want to try and fix this up. It's a challenge. It's fun. That's why I poured my heart and soul into that Quadra 840AV for nearly a decade. But you know what? There's some level of satisfaction with that. Good night, Rudy. Take care. My guess is that he bought a bunch of cars cheap, realized... Well, no, actually. I didn't really know what the hell recapping was until around 2016, 2017, when people kept mentioning it on forums, and I'm like, what are they talking about? Mine still works. I'll never have to do that. I hope I never have to do that. It turns out, no, yeah, I totally have to do that. And I've missed the boat on some of them. Unfortunately, my Performa, was it 475 or 465 or something like that? It just blew its battery all over the place and just destroyed itself. So yeah, I have some machines that just blew up, and unfortunately pushed me in the direction of, oh crap, I gotta fix all this stuff because it's my collection of machines, and if I'm not gonna fix them, they're just gonna die, and that's not fun. So I learned how to do it. I was never really good at soldering. Really was not. So you get better at it. Do you have the 840AV back in its case and happy again? No. I have not done any videos about this because I have been extremely backlogged with projects. But I had an 840 AV board I got from eBay, miraculously worked, but the case is destroyed. Got another 840 AV board locally, and then there's at least one I have to fix for a client. So you'll see more 840 AV content, but I gotta catch up on the old stuff like this board from 2022 and some other things. But yeah, Bitman. Yep, I know. It's like I didn't want to believe it either. I was like, huh? And then kablamo. All right, so let's switch cameras here. Oh, wrong one. Wow. Let's see if we made this any worse, huh? I mean, I hope not, because it was working. So this is the board that may or may not have been living inside one infinite loop for a period of time. And let's see if it's happy. Oh, we will need a blue SCSI because the Classic 2 does not have a built-in ROM, unfortunately. So, but we do have extra memory. I think this is 10 megs. 3, 2, 1. Counting all that memory. Oh, we are sad now. Why you're so sad? Probably because there's a solder ball. Or I done goofed. Here we are talking about how interested I am in the hobby. And yeah, I still goof. I screw up all the time. I just edit out most of it for my videos. Let's take a close look to see what the heck could be going on here. Because we got some jail bars that were not happy. And some distressed jail bars at that. Look at that. We have this little metal thing that was bridging something. Right there. I would bet that that's the cause. You can't see because I'm an idiot. Right here. This little guy. Where the hell did you come from? I don't know. But you're coming with me. You were right against the memory socket and probably touching something you weren't supposed to. And I hate these tweezers. There we go. Off the board you come. Let's try this again. Alright, where's the keyboard? There we are. Mighty confident, aren't I? It could also be just we brushed away something from the egret chip or something like that. But let's give it a go, shall we? 3, 2, 1. Probably going to get the same thing. Yes, we are, but without the weird glitchy marks. So there you go. All right, so what we're going to do is actually I'm just going to take the memory out. I'm just curious. I doubt it. I'm curious if without the memory it does anything different. Yep, no, gonna do the same thing. That's all right. We did something. And that's the thing. When you're cleaning up these old boards, it's very easy to disturb a connection that was there previously. So let's get out our multimeter and make sure we didn't blow anything up, huh? Come on, multimeter. Go! Alright, let's take a look around the egret chip. This could be my first order of business. Also want to make sure I don't have any crud between anything. And want to make sure our caps are in the proper orientation with their seats in their proper upright position. There is some crud between this and, there's a little solder ball or two. Not seeing anything that would be causing a direct issue, but you never know. These areas were heated up, so one of these legs could be loose. So I'm just going to go ahead with my tweezers and remove any solder balls I see. But also just give everything a little bit of a nudge. Make sure it's still connected. Just a gentle nudge to be like, hey, you still there? And this board is filthy. It's going to need to be cleaned either way. Nope, those all look okay. That one's fine. I believe this one's right there. That one's fine. That one's good. I believe this connects up here. That one's good. So I'm just checking the continuity between the capacitors and the pads, just to make sure, because some of these are very tight, that you know, nothing got loose or anything like that of where it should be. Now this one's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I could also have bridged something underneath. That's very possible. Come back to that one later. This one I think is totally good. Y'all, this is the part you need to watch. Well, let's try and figure it out together, because it worked before I touched it. I'm going to guess there's just like something not making a right connection, which is a complete shot in the dark type thing. Okay, that's good. Well, this one is like right. I don't know if I could. Yeah, it's all right. Okay. There's a lot of gunk here too, which is not helping. That one goes under there. Ooh, that trace may need some help. Oh, it certainly do. Yeah, that explained why the sound was like iffy. It's a little difficult to see because I'm out of focus, but that's supposed to connect to the sound chip there. But look, it kind of is not, because if I use Mr. Multimeter here, it is, but you know, I would be actually happier if I just made a little bit of a fix there. So I have my little enameled wire or magnet wire, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just going to make like a little repair. Now, technically it's connecting, but I would say I'm not satisfied. I turned the iron off because I'm cocky. I would say I would not trust that to stand the test of time. And this board is very gunky, so when I clean things up, it's also possible that gunk is bridging something or whatever. So, Bruce did an excellent video about what to do when your recap does not work. And I would suggest everybody check that out, because it's an excellent video. It really goes into a lot of the common things that us crazy people who repair these things notice when stuff like this just, like, you know, happens. Now would be a great time to find my scalpel. Hey, here it is. How about that? And oh, that's disgusting. Clean that off. Hold, please. Think your E grade is okay. Displaying an image. Yeah, no, I think it's fine. Well, we'll see. We're not done with this stream yet. I mean, it is 10 o'clock, so I have to wrap it up within, I'd say, an hour or so, because I do have to get up very early for work tomorrow. I have to commute, which I normally don't have to do. And I just stabbed my iron into something plastic on my desk. That's great. Oh, and this is gonna be fun with these crummy tweezers. Yay! Why did you do this, Steven? You're an idiot. Yay! Yay! All right, let's try and... Yeah, these tweezers are not going to be doing me any favors here, but hey, look, this hook in the crummy tweezers might actually help me. Kind of, maybe, sort of. No, but... burn that enamel off and try joining that to where it should be. We will clean this up in a moment. And this is not going to be the best crude repair, but I'm just curious if this will help out. This also doesn't help when things are yucky and dirty. Things just really don't want to adhere. I don't blame them. There we go. And we'll clean this up because we don't need that entire line there. Yeah. Bye, crud. And we'll clean that up a little bit. And if that does solve it, we'll make that nice and pretty. But just curious if that'll solve one of the problems with that connection there. We are super zoomed in, which is going to give me a chance to make sure that none of these caps are touching something they shouldn't. It's very possible they may. That's a problem with chatting while you're doing repairs. You could overlook something. Sorry, I'm missing the chat. But I am very focused on trying to find out what the heck is going on here. And it could very well be that one of these caps is just touching something it should not. That is very common. It's also common that you have these little solder balls that are just going to be like, well, it's not going anywhere. But, we have these microscopic ones under these chips. And a bunch of crud here, too. So, just look at this one. Ugh. Now, for all the way zoomed in with our friend the egret chip here, we can see there's a lot of flux, which is not going to usually cause a problem. But I like to check anyway. The solder ball, get out of there. Sometimes I just put my finger down and the force of it just sucks it up. There we go. There's little solder balls under there which I cannot grab. But, yeah. You also want to make sure that right here, that where the trace meets the pad, where the chip is on, sometimes it doesn't actually meet. And you can use a multimeter to very easily just verify that. But, that's a common thing as well. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just scrub this a bit. I swear I will get back to reading some of the chat comments. But I just want to give a scrub to all the areas we poked around today. And you know what? This is a perfect example of why I really put a stop on doing repair work. Because here's an example of something that worked before I touched it. And, all I did was try and make it happier. And I made it unhappy. And it could happen to you. And yes, I know there's a solder ball there. It could happen to anyone. Especially those without a microscope, which makes it maddening because you can't even see what the hell you're working on. Alright, let's get this out of here. Well, that went flying off the desk. I guess it's better than keeping it on the desk, huh? Yeah, these have a lot of crud between them as well. Oof. Ooh, that one's disgusting. There's probably a lot of cap juice on there. Yucky, yuck, 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 yuck. Oh, it's good to snap your neck in that direction sometimes. And my neck is hurting, which means it's getting that time to wrap up eventually. Does that make any sense? Maybe? No? Kind of? Sort of? Alrighty. Yeah, there's still some crud here, which might just have to come out via the ultrasonic cleaner. It could also very well be that one of these caps is touching something. It would not surprise me if I made a boo-boo like that. But I think I'd like to test this again and see if I get a different result. Hopefully, I get a positive result. And there's always the chance that ultrasonically cleaning it will make it worse. Ask me how I know. Rest in peace, my Macintosh Portable. Well, it's not working yet, but maybe eventually I'll fix it. So I'm just taking a cotton swab here and just cleaning up any residual goo or anything that may contain or may not contain solder balls. A great place to check for solder balls is right between the traces on the top and the bottom of things like a processor, because it's very easy for gunk to get right in between it. Like there's gunk right here. And unfortunately, that's something you really need magnification on, because it's so tiny. I mean, like, the tiniest little things could shove in between here. It's probably just, all of this is just gunk, but you never know. Something is making the faintest of a connection. Especially you're scrubbing around with a toothbrush or whatever. You don't know what you're pushing around. Oh, that was pretty crusty. I have to admit, that was pretty darn crusty. I mean, I just said scrubbing a toothbrush may introduce some of that stuff, but it will also clean some stuff. So, yay, catch-22. Like, right here. A little solder ball or something. Those generally look okay. But you never know. And that's what will drive you mad. In a good way. Maybe. Sort of. Kind of. Yes. It's not working because I cleaned off all the Steve Jobs guts. Guts? Well, who knows? Maybe. Hey, 50 Shades of Beige. How's it going? I talk too fast. Words don't work sometimes. Alright, let's test this sucker again. And power it on in 3. I should probably do this. 3, 2, and 1. Nope, still unhappy. Now we're getting faint bars. Ah. Yeah, I would say something is not making the connection it should. Let's get out them multimeter probes. Start with Mr. Egret here. So I'm just testing from the pad to the top of the chip. And I could also test between them to make sure that, you know, nothing's touching where it shouldn't. Now let's test this bodge wire. See if that's still going where it should, because it should go to this little via right here, which actually connects to this pin on the processor. Let's see. Yep, that's still going there. Sorry, we're talking about 6100. Oh, sorry. How do you open the power supply? Ah, okay. Yeah, there's a service manual, I believe, but I don't think it covers the power supply. Please do your Arnold voice. They're classic. I don't know. Electrical, I was worried buying a broken beige Mac. Mac 84 said I could buy one just because I like the look of it. Damn right you can. And you recapped them. See, there you go. Don't listen to anything I say. Unless you want to. Power supplies are a pain in the butt to recap because there's so many revisions and manufacturers of them, even from the same model, that it could just be that, you know, yours is slightly different and you have to basically open it up and measure all the caps and everything. People are making replacement power supplies or guides to sort of build your own. Oh, look at all this crud here. So that could be something to consider. But I don't know anyone who would recap a 6100 power supply. I certainly have like 3 questionable broken ones. And I should really make a recapping guide about them, shouldn't I? but yeah. Something tells me that this is not happy. And the multimeter shut off. Alrighty, let's try this again. See, that's... doesn't make any sense. So this pin goes to the same thing on that, but this pin doesn't really go anywhere, so it just... maybe it's just how the design is. I don't think anything's really touching. This one is I would be concerned about, but it's the same type. No, it's not. It's a different number. Just trying to make sure nothing's touching anything. Next step I'll do is probably take a peek under these caps, because I could have made a mistake. And what would be great is if I had another Classic 2 board I could compare it to. But I don't know where I put mine. Poopy. Well, poo. Because then I could say, oh, okay, this beeps like this on mine. And this is all dirty too over here. That's probably not helping either. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's disgusting here. You could have electrolytic goo making contact with stuff you don't want to make contact to. Yeah, yuck. Ick ick pooey. All right. Well, Bruce, we fixed it, and it not fixed. We recapped it, but it's sad. And when we plug it in, let's see if it does the same thing now. We get some jail bar patterns. So there's probably a cap touching something, or something just with dirt in it. Well, I'll show you exactly what I mean, Bruce. 3, 2, 1. CRT energizes, no chime, and we get some jail bars. Now, these are not faint. Before it was. So there we go. There's some bleh between them. Open to your suggestions, Jedi Master Bruce. I'm probably going to whip off the capacitors, make sure I did not touch something that was not touched before. You know what I mean. And where the hell's my bottle of water? I need a drink. No, that analog board works. I know it does. If you were talking to me, that is. Well, Bruce would have to have a 6100 to do that, and then he would have to be crazy enough to want to rip open the power supply. Let's make sure we got all our caps in the right orientation. Wait. Yeah, no, that's fine. Oh, Bruce is going to play along. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. Yeah, man, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these caps is just like touching something it shouldn't. Yeah, the Rocky and Bullwinkle song stuck in my head. I mean, this board, there's an awful lot of crud on it, so I could obviously have put something somewhere that I shouldn't have. Check the power connector. Well, if you look in the bottom here, we can see if there are any cracks. Always a good idea. Now this one may have some light cracking here, actually. Look at that. So, would not be a bad idea at all to reflow these suckers, huh? Yeah, let's do it. Excellent suggestion, Thomas. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, Bruce. But looking at the bottom, there seems to be maybe some cracked solder joints on the power pins here. I'm going to do that first. I don't think that'll solve it, but you know, it doesn't hurt to put a bit of flux in them and do some reflowing. But yeah, I'm going to recheck my cap work and be amazed when I find out that I did it. Something I made a boo-boo. I made a big boo. You can't see because I'm an idiot. Yes. Anyway. That's what happens when you don't stream for like a week and a half and you're like, durr. But see, that looks kind of cracked to me. So, we're just going to give it a bit of a reflow. Yeah, it certainly looked like a crack to me. Excuse me. The one before the square pad was cracked as well. Well, we did all of them, so let's hope that did something. Yeah, never. You know, you're pulling connectors in and out of things that have not been moved in a while, so could very well have made that unhappy. Yes, it is. It is quite interesting to watch some of this stuff under the microscope because it looks. You could actually see a lot of the stuff, and my goodness, I would not be. Wow, that was the understatement of the century. You can actually see stuff under a microscope. No, I mean I wouldn't be able to do half the repairs that I do without a microscope, and it just makes it a world easier. Even if I know what I'm touching and what I'm doing, and what has to touch where, and what has to go where, and what I'm repairing, just makes it a whole lot easier with magnification. All right. So, let's see if that was a problem. 3, 2, 1. Would you look at that? Thank you very much for the suggestion, Thomas. Because you know what? Or who said the suggestion? Was it Thomas? Who said it? Whoever it is. Yay! Alright, let's shove some RAM in there. And boot her up. It would also explain why the pattern got darker and lighter. You know, it changed. So, you are very welcome. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Really, I do. And that's why I like to do these streams. One, I record what the hell I do so other people can hopefully find out how to fix their crap. But two, I get help from awesome people like you. Food review. Uh-oh, I have to do something with food now, I guess. Drake is watching. So, reflowing the solder joints on the big old power connector made this board happy again. Yay! We got our mouse. Our mouse is moving. We're going to hopefully boot up here in a second after it checks all of that 4 or 10, what is it? 2 4 meg modules. So you have whole 10 megabytes. I think I need a system. There it goes. Sometimes you get like the double boot on this, but Classic 2s are more interesting than broken. Every Classic 2 is broken. Every Classic 2 wants to be a Mac SE. Rebuilding the desktop file. Alright, let's run Snooper 1. Let's click share. Picture of a Classic 2. Well, this is for a client, so this is going back with them. CPU okay, keyboard okay, mouse okay, testing the RAM. All 10 megabytes of it, hopefully. Gonna take a little bit. A Mac 84 food channel might not be up everyone's alley, because I have a very restrictive diet, which probably not everybody cares about, so... RAM okay, SCSI okay, floppy question mark because there's no floppy connected. But here we go, testing the mouse. All systems go. It's still testing the RAM. Or it went back to test the RAM rather. Oh, RAM's okay, perfect. All right. Well, I made vegetarian chili. I'm a vegan, so oh gosh, the hate. Let it flow through me. 4 megs. Wait, I thought this could take up to 10. Well, I guess that's 1 megs, right? What does a Classic 2 have on it? Hold on, let me check my sources here because I forget because my brain bad. So the Classic 2. I cannot spell. Alright, standard RAM is 2 megs, maximum RAM is 10. So these must be 2 1 meg modules to make 4 megabytes of memory. Interesting. So we have 4 whole megabytes. All the bytes of the megabyte. Let's just do a RAM test on the Snooper 2, since we have enough memory to boot into System 7 here, and just see if it does anything different. No fish. That's pescatarian I'm thinking of. Hey, excuse me. Logic tests. What the hell? Let's go through the whole cycle. Testing RAM with pattern 10101010. This might take a little bit. Oh boy. Technically, honey is derived from an animal, so no. Now we're testing pattern 11111111. I mean, there's a pretty solid definition. If it comes from an animal, then no. That's just like basically what it is. Testing pattern 00000000. Yet I am still a jolly fat man because I eat crap sometimes. Yay. I have to lose weight. Anyway, back to the freaking computers. It is a work product, but also some people just like murder all the bees when they're done. So I'm not a fan of that. Alright, pass the RAM test, so we're all good there. That's really funny that it was just the pins on the bottom of the board by the power connector, which, I mean, you have to imagine stressing those out after they're like 35 years old are probably going to break it, you know? Especially on the 512K and the Plus. Idiotic people! How else do you eat delicious oh drink? The stinger's my favorite part. Real-time clock, 1955. 1950. 1956. Passed. And I would assume SCSI is fine because the thing had said it before and we're booted off the damn SCSI bus. Beep. Beep. Yeah, so it doesn't like... I still have to build those little handshake dealies that Bruce shared. Basically, when it tests the serial ports, it does a handshake, and you're supposed to plug in these little dongles, which I don't have. But you could recreate those fairly easily. I just have to get off my butt and actually order the little cables, or I could just snip a cable. I actually think I have one. Yeah, the rabbits chewed through, through a serial cable. I could probably sacrifice. I had to find where the hell I put it. But it's there. Flavorless water. Delicious. Well, there you go. Happy Macintosh Classic 2. I did have another board that's an LC that somebody gave me. We'll see if we could squeeze that in. Yeah, it's doing the memory testing. At least we could get a start on it. So let's stop this. And shut her down. Whoopsie. And this will definitely need to be cleaned because this board is a bit dirty. Do they have anything other than DSDR pins? I have no idea what you're referring to. Sorry. Please explain. Alright, so let's unplug this. Is it the serial ports you mean? They're 8-pin serial ports. Mini DIN connectors. Our Classic 2 machine is known for breaking a trace for the clock battery. Mine doesn't explode or leak, but the capacitors are bad, and it doesn't keep the time or settings at all with the new battery. I mean, anything is possible with these machines because they're ancient and the traces are tiny, and bad things can happen. So, yeah, I would just say anything is possible. I have not heard of that particular scenario. I don't know if anyone else in the chat has. But, yeah, anything is possible with these old systems. So I'm going to move that. I'm going to waddle over here and grab the back of this. And put that back so I don't hurt the damn thing. And I'll be right back. Alright, this should be hopefully fairly straightforward. Whew. Now reporting 12 volts. Yeah, so your caps are definitely out of whack, Savvy Sage, because one of the things that old capacitors do is they fluctuate, especially when they've been on for a while. So, yeah, you probably need your analog board recap. That might not solve all the problems, but I certainly hope it would, because that's like the only thing left to do. Alright, so this is Carl's board. This is a 475 of some kind. Hold on. It's not an LC3, I don't think. Hold on. Let's use Google to help brain. So I believe it's like a 475 style board. Yes, I was right. LC 475 with a floating capacitor, just like hanging around there. There you go. I mean, every capacitor has tolerances, and things could be in and out of tolerances. Whether that is extreme enough to make the board unhappy, I don't know. But you know what, Sage? I will also reflow the pins on the bottom of your board, which is right here, because you never know. Maybe that was the problem too, as we just learned. So, because you were getting jailbar patterns too, let's take a look. Oh, look at that. This is the bottom of Sage's board. The regular Classic. There's some crud there, but that's okay. Crud happens. But let's take a... Oh, we have a cracked solder joint on the bottom of your board. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Well, Sage, that might be a problem. Let's reflow those for you. Stupid me, I should have checked. That's now on a to-do list because that one's cracked. That's a big old crack there. I mean, just look at that. I mean, that one has gunk on it. Cracked, 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 cracked. Yeah, let's fix them up. Reflow. 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 Reflow the mole. Least I could help you out with. Least I could do here. Thank God for the microscope indeed, because I'd be like, it looks fine. I don't see a problem here. All right, now get ready for the beauty of whatever the hell this is. Whee! Yeah, there's some gunk on that one. I'm trying to swirl them around too, just to like get like everything molten. Hopefully, that will fix that right up for you, buddy. So there we go. I should move the camera. Urgh. We here at Mac84 are a professional institution where we don't say words properly, we screw up the angle of the camera, and we often forget to switch cameras. That just shows you how dedicated we are. Alright, let's put this one to the side as I almost dragged the soldering iron off the table. Again, very, very professional. Oh yeah, Jiggly CRT. There's one little component on the Classics that's a pain in the butt. You got Jiggly CRT on there. Alright, this logic board is serial number E63412AV1ABA Singapore Primus. I'm going to show you this board. It's a LC475, and we already have a capacitor hanging off of it, but the board does look clean. From what I recall, Carl at VCF was like, hey, look, this one I tried, and it's sad. So we're going to do the rest of the job for him, and that one looks fun. You can't see. Right there. It's a bit of a crusty via, but that's okay. This is where a capacitor was at some point. And that capacitor spilled its guts. We have some little solder balls there. Hopefully everything else under this should be okay. But we're going to have to put some UV solder mask there because we do not want this capacitor touching things it shouldn't. Let's take a look at the rest of the caps before we go too far. Christopher Walken voice. I can't do that impression. Sorry. Ron can probably do it, but I as you just heard of like the 3 microseconds I tried, that's a big no. Not terrible. I say this one looks pretty clean, except for that one cap that literally fell off the board when he handed it to me at VCF. So yeah, some dirt, some grime. And let's go to Recap a Mac, Bruce's excellent website, and see how many lovely capacitors we need for this. So this is a Macintosh LC475 or a Quadra 605, one of the same. And we have 9 47 microfarad 16 volt capacitors and 2 100 microfarad 6.3 volts, which I do have in stock. So yay. Yay. Scrappy, scrappy doo! I wouldn't be surprised if I just replaced this cap if the thing boots. I mean, it probably will boot up anyway, but I don't have too much time remaining. I have stuff to do in the morning. But I'm gonna try and just clean this up a little bit, even if we don't finish it tonight. I could just give a start. This is a VCF Midwest catch-up special, maybe. Why is he talking like the announcer on Saturday Night Live? At least the old announcer. I don't know if they sound like that anymore. Because who's watching anymore? Nobody. Oh, boy. Delicious. All right, that one looks okay. I thought that might be damaged. Let's get some of this crud off of this pad here. Sometimes the crud will just come off with a hot soldering iron and some flux. Sometimes it won't. Green crusties. Even the hard drive is having trouble spinning up. Voltage is reporting 10. Yeah, I would say your analog board is unhappy, and the hard drive is going to be drawing on it. And don't forget, if you're testing it without a logic board, I'm assuming, unless you have a second logic board, it's obviously not drawing the power. It's not under load. So, all right, let's flux this up and see if we could make this a little bit shinier, huh? Just put flux everywhere. Did you see the amount of flux that guy put on that board? That should be illegal. Delicious. Oh, that smells awful. Yeah, so you're testing it with the system not being on a load from the logic board, which means that, yeah, your voltages are going to be even lower, probably, if you were to test that with your logic board. So I would say that definitely needs a recap. I mean, without question, the Classic and Classic 2 analog boards, SE analog boards, SE30, Color Classic, LC, all-in-ones, well, eventually, if not already. Depends on how old it is, how much it was used, how it was stored, all this stuff. They're all gonna need replacing all those caps. This ain't the fountain of youth, unfortunately. Oh my god, this stinks terribly. There's so much crud. Delicious. Good night, Sci-Fi Surfer. See you later. Thanks for stopping by. Where the hell are we? There we are. Fluxing at 88 miles an hour. I was happy on that previous classic board that I didn't screw up any of those caps. It's very easy to do because those caps are so close to each other. It's very easy to just like touch something you're not supposed to and all that stuff. I just didn't want to have to go through all those again. All those caps. I was like, no, please. I don't want to do it. All right, cool. So I guess I'll take this cap off too. So these two caps here are 4716. So what I'm just curious of. Now this does need a video RAM module, I believe, to turn on. Because there's built-in memory, but I don't think there's any video memory. Well, to turn on successfully. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just replace these two caps. But I'm also just curious like what the state of it is. I don't want to go too far tonight because I don't have a lot of time, unfortunately. But I just want to confirm if I replace these two caps, if we're in a better off shape than we were before. Because I forget the exact circumstances of this board, if it just, doesn't work anyway, or what. So I'm going to try and remove this cap carefully, without the use of hot air. We'll see how successful I am. Because it's right next to that memory module, which is very, very plasticky, and I don't feel like dealing with that right now. I just really don't. Alright, you have to be very delicate when you're doing this, because if you put too much pressure on it, you're going to rip the cap right off the board. And look, I've done that before. We all make mistakes. But it's not a fun thing you want to try and fix. Because, yeah. There we go. Yeah, even, see that pad even just lifted slightly? But there's a bunch of crud under here anyway. So we'll clean that up. As Savvy Sage, I could say with 1000% confidence, your analog board needs to be recounted. That is my professional opinion. It could be wrong, but that's my professional opinion. I've seen enough of these stupid machines to know that. At least I would hope. Alright, let's move this keyboard aside. Let's get 2 of the finest 47 microfarad capacitors out of this bag. Wasn't the guy on eBay trying to sell unexploded? Yeah, there was an idiot trying to sell batteries like that. I wouldn't be surprised if he was just like doing it for a laugh, but you know, some poor sucker probably wanted to buy one. I have an unexploded looking, new looking Maxell Super battery for my Centra 650. That is rare. Steve Jobs, eBay. Make your millions of dollars. My goodness. Yeah, I have 1 or 2 that look to be in pretty good shape. I would never put them in a computer. But hey, if you want to make a gnarly necklace, I mean, go ahead. But as I was saying before, I'm pretty sure this system is going to require video memory to display anything on the screen. So I'm going to have to dig through and steal it from maybe one of my systems before we get started here. Be very careful here. This one. Now, I'm actually doing something stupid. I should test the continuity before I put on the cap to the right, because there were some suspect things going on here. Got the multimeter. 0.3 volts. Lucky you indeed. Yeah, mine were stored in a garage, but only one really blew up. Yeah, well, that's just... that's fine. Close enough. Gee, could you tell Steven really wants to go to bed? No, that's not at all. Now here we have to be very careful because we're right over things. But that should not touch anything. It should be okay if we're careful. Alright, so even though the rest of the caps are suspect and probably will start leaking as soon as I turn this on, I do want to just see if we get any signs of life out of this thing. So, hard drive was not spinning up and down before I did the knob trick. Yeah, because the voltage was probably not powerful enough to spin that hard drive that's been like sitting there sad for God knows how long. Alright. Let's, what the hell am I doing? Alright, and then now I need to go find some VRAM. Would it take the same video memory from a Centris? Like the, Centris 650 I have here. Maybe? Where up the board? Where'd you go, Mr. Logic Board? There you are. And I already took the video memory out of you. I did, because I'm special. Let me go find some. Gotta be around here somewhere. Most of this is not video memory, but I know where some is. Hold on. I'm pretty sure these modules will work okay. Ugh. We'll find out. Now, this is onboard regular memory, I believe. Let's confirm our assumptions. LC475 or Quadra 605. We have 4 or 8 megs, depending on the model. Motherboard has 4 megs built in. Okay, cool. So, I'm going to get a power supply, which... It's not that one. Oh, where did I put it? There it is. And this may be unhappy with the battery. With that one, rather. And all of my little Ron's battery holder dealies are being used. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Alright. We want a video monitor here. We also want our blue SCSI, which is here. We also want to position the camera so you can see what the hell I'm doing. Huh? Wouldn't that be nice? And speaker, which I put in one of these parts drawers because I was using it with the 650 before. There you are. So let's see if this does anything happy when we try and turn it on, huh? This is off. Plug you in. All right, and let's see if we hear anything. 3, 2, 1. Oh, it would help if the power strip was turned on, huh? 3, 2, 1. How about that? We have a chime. Let's switch over to our VGA capture to see if we get anything. We may not without a battery. I used to have... Oh, that's an old Maxell one. We ain't using that. Oh, this one I think is good. So let's pop in this battery here. Try it again. There we go. Look at it go. Now it's probably going to yell at me because I don't have the right system enabler, but we have a cursor, which is moving around. We have our chime. We have some minor noise coming through the speaker because these caps are probably very ancient and unhappy. But, yeah, it's going to reboot. Hey, Derek, how's it going? Yeah, it's not the right startup disk, but the board does work, which is great. So we just have to finish recapping this. I'll probably do that another night because I am getting tired and it's 11 p.m. here. But that's great news for Carl's board here. Take out this battery, which probably fell on the floor. Let me grab that and put it over here. And let's unplug this. But that's good to know that we are making progress, at least. That's half of the battle, huh? Half of the battle. So, yeah, 3 successes. That doesn't happen that often. 4 if you count the Quadra 650 at the beginning of the stream. But, yeah, how about that? Well, I'd like to thank everybody for hanging out with me tonight. Especially everybody who gave me a super chat. Thank you so much. That really helps the channel, because any way you could support me, whether it's doing something for free, like liking the video or subscribing to the channel, that just helps people say, hey, there's this Mac 84 guy. And not all of his videos are terrible or terribly long or anything like that. I do have some more scripted content. There's a review of an ultrasonic cleaner that's coming out real soon. I have my blue SCSI review, which has been overdue for decades, which I have to get out. And life's just been very difficult. And yeah, so I will try and get those out sometime soon. Yeah, I'm happy to be working through some of these ancient backlog repairs. There's a Quadra 840AV, I think, in my future. Tom's Quadra 950 is also going to be on the bench. I have to make room for it. It's a massive machine. Pseudo Eep. Oh, Mike. You didn't have to do that, buddy. Eep! Thank you very much, Mike. I love you, man. Go subscribe to Mike's Mac Shack, please. He'll be soon changing his channel name to Mike's Mess, which is very appropriate. But yes, please subscribe to Mike. Subscribe to Bruce. Subscribe to all the people. Savvy Sage, everybody who was in the chat. Ron's computer videos. Everybody. Do the thing. Mike, please stream soon. We all want to see your craziness. We love you, man. And yeah, that's about it for now. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Don't forget to go to recapamac.com for all the recapping guides that I showed you. You go to shop.mac84.net. No, this isn't my shirt. This is the VCF shirt. You can buy one from them too at vcfed.org. But go to shop.mac84.net but to buy my merch if you want to. If not, who cares? Anyway, take care. See you later. I have to find the end stream button, which is buried under like 18 windows, I'm sure. I don't even have it open. Stupid me. Well, hope you have a great day, and may all of your Christmas dreams come true. Where the hell's the damn button? It's stupid YouTube studio. The login, I have to click the thing, I have to click end stream, and then I have to click end. Alright, bye!